To you.
Thanks, Barra. Bit happening around the ground. Garlick is down. The umpire is going down towards the goal square. So too the runner.
And a free kick already, Dennis. A shot on goal for the Western Bulldogs in the opening minutes.
This umpire is waving it off, I think, isn't he? Or is he? What are we seeing here?
And of course, the rivalry of the West Coast Eagles and the Western Bulldogs is well documented. There was certainly that incident at Subiaco Oval a few years ago where Brett Heddy and Peter Simic got strangled. And a couple of years ago, the Western Bulldogs came out and ruffled up Michael Gardner before the start of the game.
Now, umpire Sheehan is indicating the game is underway. We knew that. Simon Garlick's got the footy. Two experienced umpires embroiled there. Brian Sheehan and Hayden Kennedy down in the square. How about this then? Simon Garlick hits the post. It's had everything. And we've played 30 seconds. Well, how about this?
Well, I think we're going to see a fiery clash here tonight. There's some long memories out there.
In fairness, not much to it, but the umpire's very keen to grab this game by the scruff of the neck, I think. Very zealous in their work. So Metropolis kicks in a poster from the first kick. Doesn't happen too often in footy. That may have almost been a first. Wine goes up and takes a mark on the outer side. This is Brown from about 60 metres out. Long bomb down towards full forward. Going back. Jones touched it. In any case, it was the wrong side of the post.
Just last year when you see a bit of a replay here, and I think Philip Reid is the just a little bit of a shove, and I think Garlick put on a fairly good act there.
It happens a lot before games generally. The players stand up though. As the ball comes in, Morrison takes the mark. Still get away with what you can. West is slung down, spills out of there. Hudson, Albie, hurried kick down towards full forward, bounces just inside the behind post.
You see Chad Morrison wanting to get the play on and get the run going from the West Coast Eagles, but very good work there by Scott West. Last year when the Bulldogs travelled over to the West Coast Eagles at Subiaco Oval, they were on the end of a bit of a shellacking. That'll be in their memory.
McIntosh, broadcast side with a high ball. Gardner had it knocked away by Darcy. Albie knocked it down to West. The hand pass ill-directed though. Chopped off nicely. Garlick's hand pass came to West. A centering kick. Hudson almost could have got a free there. Fisted away. This is McKenna, hard against the boundary line. Feeds Cousins. Across the goal face goes the kick. Cox almost. It was knocked away from him. Down goes Embley. Tackled by a couple of them at a bounce. Simmons onto the ground now. Didn't catch who came off. Barra.
It was Daniel Metropolis Denso on the bench for the Eagles. Metropolis, Glass, Crab and Rintoul.
I didn't mean who came off. There's the bounce at centre half back. Darcy knocks it down. Garlick in trouble. Turnbull's got it. Hurries a kick out of defence. The Eagles haven't been past the centre. This is Brown. Plenty of support there too. Nicely done. Brown hard against the boundary line. Kicks inside the 50. Hudson battles with McKenna. Fell behind. Crashing the back there is Jones. Hudson brought him down. Well done. Jones butters up again on his knees. Reed a push in the back there on Garlick. Play goes on. McKenna has got the footy, but the umpire wants it from him.
Well, both sides at the moment just flexing their muscles. There's the weather for tonight, Dennis.
Yeah, plenty of rain this morning, but now it's very pleasant. Clear night. It's cleared up nicely. Hand pass from Hudson. Romero. West. In trouble, Brown. Tackle from both sides. Umpire Kennedy goes scooting across, and he'll bounce it just outside the 50.
Both sides already applying some tackles. Both going straight through the players, and it's going to be a very interesting night. Pretty fiery one, I'd say.
Knocked down by Turnbull, taken by Jakovic to Brown, who last week looked like West. Tonight he looks like Romero, who kicks it inside the 50. Reaching over the top, Albie. Braun was in front, slapped out of there McKenna. It's outside the 50. Socket off the ground by Grant, and bounds on the full.
Speaking of Chris Grant, it looks like Andrew Embley, who is going to pick him up. I would have thought perhaps young Darren Glass, who played him in the pre-season competition, may have grabbed him.
Braun bolted away and kicked it up towards Gehrig, but it was tapped away by Kingsley Hunter, no stranger to this ground. Paul DiMartina verbally getting involved. Not all of it complimentary, I don't think. Tossed in. Wind is there with Gardner. West has got it. Intercepted by Kemp. Follows through. Knocks it out of the pack. Croft in the opposite direction. Barges in. Spills to Braun. Braun about 75 metres from goal. Pulls it back towards the middle. Up goes Grant. Takes the mark to Hunter. Decides to bounce. Hunter. Hand passes to Romero. Through the centre square he goes. Kicking towards half forward. Hudson on the lead. Takes the mark. Feeds it back inside. Eagleton from 40 metres out. Good looking effort. Just sliding away to the left. Bad luck on the run. Behind.
Well, great play there by the Western Bulldogs, and Chris Grant seems to be playing a defensive role at the moment. He was the person who cut that foray by the West Coast Eagles, and they had runners all through there. Just picking a few of the matchups already. Young Fletcher's picking up Western. Cousins is on Romero.
McKenna, if you've just joined us, a sensation right at the start before the ball was bounced. Free kick awarded to Simon Garlick. 20 metres out. Umpire Kennedy paid the free. And Garlick hit the post. This is Turnbull. Looping hand pass intended for Morrison. Chopped off by Smith. Back to Brown. Morrison dives in. Surrounded. On the up. Got it to Embley, who runs inside the centre square. Nice looking kick too. Leading back in the race is Wapunda. He's on the forward line it seems. Wapunda just outside the 50. Cox right there with him. And the ball is pushed across the boundary line. Averaging 20 possessions a game. Fifth and the best and fairest last season. Pushed forward tonight by Ken Judge.
Yes, obviously Ken Judge is wanting a little bit more crumbing around the packs with David Ruapunda moving up there.
Wind and Gardner go at it again. They lock up. Good to see Wind back tonight. Wapunda right on the 50 then. Centering kick. In fact, he pulled it back behind where he kicked it from. Philip Matera on the burst. Away to Braun. Liberatore got him. Good tackle. West with courage. Liberatore on all fours. Gets it back to Hunter. Broaden slings with a hand pass releasing Alvey. Alvey runs up to the wing. Kicks down towards half forward. McKenna's in front. Well played. Hudson says kick it longer, but I think the player was fully stretched. Turnbull, the short one. Braun, busy early. Croft ties him up. Braun swings it out wide towards the wing. McIntosh. It's a game of run at the moment. McIntosh forward at the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Cummings is there. One-hander. Not enough. Over the top. Grant. He'll give him the push in the back. A compassionate umpire. Perfectly angled. Almost to Scotty Cummings. The juggled attempt at the mark. Watch it again. Partial control. Grant diving at the footy.
Around the neck there.
It's marginal.
Touchy.
You call it.
Yep.
In fact, Grant, just looking at that replay again, there was daylight between the two bodies on the way down. Grant did everything humanly possible to avoid getting in the back. But you might have been right, umpire Mainwaring. Just that arm slipping over the left shoulder.
35 goals, Scotty Cummings averaging 5 last time he's here. Of course, 14 goals against Adelaide. And he's a real confidence player.
This time last year, he'd bid at 29. This is pretty good. It hits the post, almost on the top.
Thought you were leaning then to get it through the goalpost there, Dennis.
Or trying to make it miss, depending on your point of view.
That's true.
So, both sides start with a poster. One, the first kick of the game.
Have a look at the screen. Footscray, or the Western Bulldogs, I apologise, have got 3 players past their centre. So they've got a lot of players up in the back half of the West Coast Eagles.
Todd Kelly kicked in. Wine fell over. Grant stood up. Simmons, though, got it to Turnbull to Kemp. Wapunda 40 metres out. Sharp angle. Steers at goal with good effort. Just missed.
Well, it really is an even game at the moment. The West Coast Eagles really do need to get off to a good start. They haven't won a game when they've been behind at any stage this year. So for them, they've definitely got to get off to a good start. And the Bulldogs, of course, have lost 3 in a row.
Kick in once more, fell in front. Fletcher inside the 50. Rowan Smith does well, controls it. This is Alvey, half back, gets it away. Brown linking them nicely. Good kick too. He uses the ball so well. Darcy comes across the ground. Intelligent kick, and West has got it. West about 60 metres out. Kicks from just inside the centre square. It's hard in there. Did it brilliantly. And Hunter is pushed right up the ground. And distance for this man won't be a problem from just inside the 50. He hoofs it a long way.
Well, Kingsley Hunter, who only played 1 game last year, has been transformed basically into a backman. He originally came across as a forward. He's playing on Fraser Gehrig across the half-back line tonight. And he's kicked 86 goals in total in his career.
Kingsley Hunter starts it right, and it stays one.
I think he thinks he's a backman these days.
That's his excuse, running back. Ironic the way things work. James Cook let go. You would have thought that would have meant that Kingsley Hunter would have finally got his chance to cement a place on the forward line. And lo and behold, he's in defence. McKenna drives it up the middle. Plenty of West Coasters there, and the mark is taken by Gardner. Wants to go. He's at centre half back. Michael Gardner kicks through the centre square. Lovely kick too. Embley launches himself. Couldn't hang on. Kemp goes off the ground. It's a 2-on-1 situation. 3-on-2 now. Curley got back. The spare man down there, Philip Matera. Sol Cummings into trouble though. Crashing in Liberatore. Still he goes. Curley run down by Philip Matera, who's quick. In the back, says the umpire Kennedy. Free kick to Todd Curley.
Well, they've got a couple of speedsters down there in the forward line, the West Coast Eagles, both Wirapunda and Matera, very quick across the ground, and they'll cause some problems for the Western Bulldogs back line.
Cox out of defence, a high kick up towards the wing. Albie, was it a push? Yes, it was. Braun will get the free kick. Braun has started very well, as I mentioned earlier. His 5th possession. Jakovic through the centre square, pops one up. Gehrig will need to go. He's outnumbered. Quality opposition is there too. Chris Grant going to ground. Over the top is Embley. Ball is wedged in there, and the ball up just outside the 50.
And Dennis, based on games, the Western Bulldogs go in with more experience. All their players playing tonight, 2,443. It's 111 games to the West Coast Eagles, 1,936, 88 games. So a little bit more experience out there for the Bulldogs.
Hunter, Ramiro, now Brown, back to Ramiro. He's at right half back, spots a man close to the boundary line. No percentage in that. Simmons closing quickly. Fisting away from Eagleton.
Dan just completing the Western Bulldogs bench. Dimatina is there. Contessa, Dooley and Wills. And Phil Matera is playing on someone shorter than him for the first time in his career, Libba.
We love that. Wine, stripped. Well done, Gardner. West, busy. The engine room for the Dogs getting a lot of it. Sold into trouble, Smith. Hand pass as a result, not good. This is Morrison. Against the flow, spotted Rapunda, who's marked about 35 metres out. A 45-degree angle.
That was very good play there. Very good vision by Morrison. And we see Andrew Embley coming off, who was picking up Grant. Now Metropolis is coming on to replace him. Grant seemed to be moving all over the place, but there's that kick from Morrison. And just fantastic vision. And very good play there by Philip Matera, just to hold out Liberatore and just to give that little bit of extra space there for David Wirapunda and not put him under any pressure.
So Rapunda, a question of accuracy, shaping it right to left, and I think he's done enough. It is very close. It grazed the post, not the fat part.
Yes, we're back here at the Wacker ground where they have that.
The fat post.
Yes.
Watch this.
It's a very lovely kick, David Wirapunda. Oof.
Slight graze. Meantime, back at the ball game, this is Eagleton around the outer side. Scrambles a kick up towards the wing. Hunter once more in the action. Interesting kick. Very high, very effective. Hudson coming up the ground, taking the mark, barking the instructions. McKenna pulled back a couple of paces on the mark. And Hudson realizing from this range, every metre will help.
Of course, this is the man you don't want to have too much of the ball, because he's one of the best kicks on goal, especially on the run. Their leading goal kicker last year with 51 goals. He's just a tremendous kick on goal, is Paul Hudson.
What do you think?
He'll put it through.
51 metres out, didn't quite connect. As a result, fell short by about a metre. Gehrig was up and fisted the ball across the line. It was on target. So players running hard to both ends of the ground, and the forwards and backs of both teams making themselves available. Spirited start after Simon Garlick got that free. In the opening seconds. Bit of a limp forward, we thought. Croft goes up, takes the mark. He was off. Jakovic has got him, dragged him down. Croft's hand pass back towards the middle. Darcy exposed. Gets it away, though. Nicely done. This is Brown with the right boot. Bending it back. He's all quality. Nathan Brown, great goal.
Well, persistence was eventually going to get a goal for the Western Bulldogs, because they've really been peppering at it. And at the moment, they just really do seem to be a little bit more in charge of this game. Here you see Croft, who was basically unattended, tried to play on. It was good play by Jakovic to actually pick that up. But we saw here Brown, who just came rushing through. And he's a very, very good player, is Brown. Averaging about 15 possessions last year, up to 21 possessions this year.
Inside the centre square, the Bulldogs have West, Wind, Ramiro and Brown, who kicked that goal, up against Gardner, Cousins, Fletcher and Morrison. Interesting combo as far as the Eagles are concerned. Philip Matera takes a mark, plays on by hand to Braun, running hard. Well, he's a hard man to beat that way. Liberatore closed him down, but not before the hand pass came to Philip Matera, but his kick's a poor one. Mark is taken by Wind, away to Grant. Grant kicking it across the ground. Clever use of the body by Darcy. Leads back in the race. Sweating on him Morrison. Brown in trouble. Drew a crowd. Got the hand pass away. Darcy tackled by Simmons. The hand pass not all that good. Made to look okay by Brown though. Hard against the boundary on the wing. Spears the pass to Ramiro. Goes again to Alvey. The hand pass finds Eagleton. Arches the back. Comes away from 50 long. Johnson almost. Going back McKenna. Trots across the line.
And it's that sort of point of the whole setup there was actually responsible for Scott Wind, and Scott Wind always plays that kick from behind, and what you've actually got to do, you've really got to just pass the ball around and try and go over the top of him, because if you just keep kicking long, he's always going to keep moving along and he'll stand in the road. It's a ploy that he's been using for years, and I'm sure Ken Judge would be well aware of it, and his players should be too.
Cousins kicking around the outer side. Gardner will get a free. Hasn't been a volatile start like I expected, with that one exception, and maybe the umpires took their stance early, made the point, and the players are now playing. Here's Gardner from right half back inside the centre square, almost the strong mark to Metropolis. Kemp nicely done, those silky skills to Braun. Looping hand pass. Reed's got it, runs inside the 50. He kicked it, I think, on his shin, way off to the right. It wasn't. Good disposal. The mark paid, it is. Gehrig has paid a mark. He hand passes to Rapunda, and I think he may have missed. Oh, that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He said point then, and we're looking at it on the screen. But better player passage there by the West Coast Eagles and bringing it in. We actually saw Scott Wind, who moved up on Philip Reed, and that's the way that you're going to need to bring the ball in. You've got to go over the top of Scott Wind. You continue to just keep keeping long. He's always going to keep filling the gap.
Curley kicks in. Centimetre perfect, got it to Ellis. Away to Liberatore, running off half back, crowd favourite, kicks it up towards half forward. It pitches outside the 50, coming through McKenna, kicks it out of bounds on the full. Western Bulldogs free, and they lead by 9 points. The early going from the WACA ground in Perth. It's Saturday night football. Glad you could join us. Dennis Committee and Chris Mainwaring as Hudson centres this one. Eagles in position. Metropolis moments ago on the forward line competing. Reed moments ago took a shot at goal. This is Cousins breaking away from half back, coming up towards the wing. Gardner now kicks inside the 50. Dropping back is Grant. Up he goes, juggles the mark.
This time it's Chris Grant who seems to be filling up the hole.
Liberatore in trouble. Tackled by Philip Matera. Play allowed to go on. Kingsley Hunter jabs it across to support. Curley generally plays it like a polar bear. He's very cool. He comes across the ground. Taken by Cox. Back it comes. They need to be careful. Brown has it. Chips it out wide. Eagleton will need to go. And again, we saw that moments ago. A sense of deja vu as Simmons reaches over Eagleton and knocks it out of bounds.
And that was actually good play there by the West Coast Eagles forwards. They continue to put the Western Bulldogs players under pressure. And if you continue to do that, eventually they'll make a mistake.
Turnbull locks up with Darcy. Cummings tried to trap it. Comes to Kemp. He's 55 metres out. A runner on inside. Question of accuracy. Fletcher kicks. Is it a goal?
Hit the post.
Raise the post again.
Number 3 for tonight already.
No excuse that high and slender up there. It's a metre across down the bottom.
Chad Fletcher's got his work cut out tonight. He's playing on Scott West, and he's already had 7 possessions. And West is Fletcher's going to need to do those sort of things. He's going to need to run forward and expose West in that area. Eagleton
to West. You're on world record pace for posters in the game. The record is 83. Here's Croft. Some doubting Thomas is up here. Coming through is Metropolis. Ricochets off him. Taken by Kemp inside the centre square. Long kick coming across is Grant again, getting a lot of the footy. Featuring in the action, he knocks it across the boundary line.
Sorry, Adrian.
I was just going to say, Manny, probably you're about to say they've got to do something about Chris Grant,
yes,
don't they?
Yep, exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. They cannot keep putting the ball in there because it's either going to be Grant or Wine who is going to sit back all the time. They've just got to keep shifting the ball around, or they've got to bring the spare man is at Metropolis. He's got to come and man him up.
Boundary throw in, Wind and Gardner. Gardner tries to hook it down behind. Philip Matera got it to Metropolis. Metropolis snaps and it bounces out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. He's at point 2. 5.5 minutes till quarter time. Daniel Metropolis, his dad was a very good player in the WAFL. In front, Gardner. Philip Matera snaps from 20. That's better.
Well, it's a fairly even game at the moment. No side seems to be able to break any shackles. And we just see here where Michael Gardner doing the right thing for a ruckman, getting in front, and Philip Matera playing just the perfect position for a small man at the bottom of the feet of the two ruckmen. No pressure from the Bulldogs players, and if you're going to play on Philip Matera, you've got to be right on top of him.
(1-7 to 1-5). And quite a few posters involved for both clubs. Gardner up very high, wide, met him on the way down, knocked it to Wapunda, however. Wapunda kicks inside the 50. Grant reaches over the top of Metropolis. This is Hunter breaking away. Kingsley Hunter, long kick out towards the wing. Smith is in front. Wapunda, step for step, close to the boundary line. It's out of bounds. And what about it, Barra, down there at the moment? It seems rather a passive start, given the way these two sides have gone at it in the past. It hasn't been a physical game. It's a running game.
Surprising lack of emotion. Perhaps there was too much emotion for West Coast in the build-up with Chris Lewis. I don't know, but they haven't been lifting at the moment.
No. You think back to some of their future or past games. I mean, you didn't go to the bench. You went to the neutral corner. There's Smith. Short one. Romero. Kemp snuck up on him. Simmons. Wapunda alongside the centre circle. Kicks inside the 50. Ellis did well in the battle of strength, but it fell to Gehrig. Gehrig snaps, and there's another one for the West Coast Eagles. 2 in the space of a minute.
Well, that's better signs for the West Coast Eagles. Last week we saw them not offering any assistance to their players. Tonight we're seeing them attacking the players. Here we see Dean Kemp, who put on a fantastic tackle. And he's had a fairly good season so far this year, Dean Kemp, although a couple of times he's found himself on the bench. But good tussle there between the full forward and full back, and Fraser Gehrig basically playing lone hand as a rover there. And put it away. And some good signs for the West Coast Eagles already.
Fraser Gehrig, an All-Australian in '97. And the Eagles need to fire. Brilliantly done Wine to Romero, who kicks down towards half forward. McIntosh almost the clever grab. Sliding in there. Hudson slaps it out. Crofts over the ball. Wapunda's got him. Took him down. Simmons picks up the crumb. Comes away from half back. Kicks through midfield towards half forward. Morrison opted out of the contest. Now Curley after the punch away by Hunter. This is Smith. Smith towards half forward. It's a good kick. It's a beautiful kick. Garlick's taken the mark. About 40 metres out on a slight angle.
Oh, that was just a very, very nice pass there from Rowan Smith, and he really is one of their key playmakers, averaging about 18.5 possessions this year. Hasn't missed a game since 1995, so it's a fairly good record. You can rely on him.
More ground marking going on there. I think the umpire actually marked it. Garlick wanted to. Reid wanted to push him away. The umpire came in and scratched at the turf that time. We talked about it before. The way out of this, Chris, is players wear hats like they did in the old days. Toss them on the ground.
Put it down.
That was their use.
10 goals already this year from Simon Garlick.
48 metres out, Simon Garlick. That's a lovely kick. Gun barrel straight.
And a very quick response there from the Western Bulldogs. So the game's toing and froing at the moment. They're both having a go at each other. And that's probably a key area of the Western Bulldogs, is really through their midfield area. They've got some great runners, Dimartina, Smith, West, Liberatore if he gets through the middle there, and the delivery of the ball there. Philip Reid just had no chance at all to spoil that ball.
The Eagles have changed up considerably inside the centre square, going with Gardner, Kemp, Wapunda and Fletcher now. Smith is in there for the Bulldogs. That's their only change since last I gave them to you. The kick from West down towards half forward, fisted away by Turnbull. In trouble is McIntosh. Jakovic got into the back of the Bulldog. No free kick. It spills wide. Braun, still Braun, having one of those nights. Now Simmons. Simmons from half back uses the ball well. Fletcher goes back inside. Braun towards the middle. Nicely done. Gardner's got it. Lacking support. Jakovic is cruising past but sold into trouble. Had the kick quickly down towards half forward. Gehrig reaching for it. It was knocked away. Cousins 55 metres out. This could run on. It does, but the wrong side of the post. Another behind.
Well, it's certainly a different West Coast Eagles side that's run out this week, Dennis. Even if they seem to be making mistakes, they've got the players around that seem to be backing up, and it doesn't matter how many mistakes you do make, as long as you've got the teammates there to support you.
Todd Curley to kick it in then. I would imagine that St Kilda fans watching this would get nervous even when they watch other sides kick it in after this afternoon. Here's Curley. Broadcast side. Wines in front. Reaching up the top is Gardner, and he knocks it out of bounds. Just watching that game this afternoon, I don't think I've ever seen a side pinned down like the Saints were this afternoon, trying to clear the area.
Not a pretty sight.
No.
Tim Watson's got a fair amount of work to do there. I'm sure he doesn't need me to tell him that.
Boundary throw-in. Tim's probably tuned into this game for a bit of therapy just to get away from the Saints, and here we are talking about it. Gardner to Kemp to Fletcher. Slides it across the face. Watch out for Cummings from behind. Still Cummings. Open goal. Gets it.
Well, you can put that goal down to Dean Kemp as far as I'm concerned. He was the man who really set that up. And we saw the boundary throw in there a minute ago. He was the man who released the ball. We just sort of see him here. And just some very quick hands. Such a skillful player. And Chad Fletcher, he's done very, very well so far on West. West had quite a few possessions himself. But Fletcher's been very damaging through the 50-metre area. And just put the ball up into the West Coast Eagles zone. And good to see Scotty Cummings on a second effort.
Just over 2 minutes till quarter time. 3-6, 2-7. West Coast on top, with nothing in it. Wind and Gardner. Wind clean possession. Well played by the veteran. Kicks inside the 50. Can the Dogs get a quick reply? Croft coming up the ground in the opposite direction, West. And he was pushed in the back, and he'll get a free kick.
Don't mind having another look at this one. You sure it was in the back and not in the side?
No.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, let's have a look.
Here we go.
Oh, well, yes, late he was in the back, but I thought early he wasn't. He was in the side, but anyway, Scotty West does have it, averaging 26.5 possessions this year, by far in their top three players. He's put that one through by the looks.
Nice goal.
And it just seems at the moment that the Western Bulldogs are able to get another goal as quickly as possible once the West Coast Eagles have already scored. And whilst it came from a free kick, there's still got to be a bit of resistance from the West Coast Eagles. They're always trying to get 1 or 2 goals at a time. And young Chad Fletcher didn't seem too happy then, but so far he's doing quite a good job on Scott West. Big job on him, and probably his biggest job so far in his career.
So they're slugging it out, going goal for goal. Saturday night football from the WACA ground. Scotty West, 11 possessions in the opening term. Getting plenty of it. Up goes Gardner, slaps it down. Coming through as Morrison, gets it at the second attempt. High ball to half forward. Curley two-fisted away. Cousins in front. Can he control it? Still he goes. Didn't have it. On all fours, West knows no other way. Curley dragged down. Scrambled it back towards the defensive 50. Morrison to Gardner. Smothered brilliantly by Wind. Chance for Cox. Back to Wind. Slung. Gains about 20 metres up towards the wing. Crashing through his Braun. Held a long time in the tackle. McIntosh has got it though. In trouble. Comes back towards the middle and Jakovic. But it's coming back to Braun after all of that. The umpire decided there was no advantage there. Jakovic has got the footy on the wing. No advantage bringing it back by the look of it. Braun to Jakovic. Jakovic kicks it down towards the 50. Turning around Philip Matera. Liberatore didn't have it. Across the boundary line it goes. The boundary throw-in. Yes, good point, Tony. You tell him.
I think the problem with Jakovic there, he looked up to go long, and he saw Scott Wine try to come back and caught himself off, and oh, that was definitely a free kick to Tony Liberatore.
I think Libba said the big fella had hold of me, and Philip Matera was flattered. Everyone was happy. It's knocked down by Gardner. Crashing in again is Liberatore. Kemp on his knees, scrambles after it. In goes Cox. And a free kick is going to the West Coast Eagles. Apparently Cox must have reefed that ball in under the pack.
Let's have a look now and see why. Kemp's chucked it out.
Umpire made error.
Oh, it's that new rule. It's pretty tough. He did drag it in. They were pretty quick to jump on him though.
Yes. Here's Kemp. 40 metres out. Needs an accurate kick. And it is.
Well, the trend continues. One goal to the West Coast Eagles, one goal to the Bulldogs, and another one back to the West Coast Eagles. So no side can really break the shackles at the moment. And Dean Kemp, just the recipient of that free kick, has been a fantastic player for the West Coast Eagles. It's his 112th goal so far. Very, very good player is Dean Kemp. Very good skills on both sides of his body. Nearing the end of his career, but probably got at least another year or two left in him.
The dying seconds of the opening term. We're down to 22 seconds remaining. 4-6-3-7. Entertaining affair. Neither side really capitalising on their chances. Gardner's in there. Kemp goes after it. Smith to Albie. Kicking down towards half forward. Takes a big bounce. Croft tries to knock it on. Plenty of Eagles around the footy. Curley played it well. Or was it Croft? It was Croft who knocked it out. Ramiro smothered by Simmons. Croft comes again. That's an interesting tackle.
Is that holding the ball?
Could have been over the shoulder as well. There's the siren. McKenna thought about how am I going to tackle this guy coming at me at this angle. You could see him think about it and you thought, oh well, and went in. And now this is more like it, boys. Jakovic having a bit to say. This is in keeping with the history, the rivaled history between these two clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacko's conjugating a few verbs in there too, isn't he?
My brother-in-law can read sign language, and so I tell you, I'd like to ask him after the game to find out what he's saying exactly there,
well,
Dennis.
I hope my mother got up. Immediately they blew the siren and went to make a cuppa. She finds these telecasts very difficult some nights. So it's quarter time. And we'll check that scoreline. 30 plays, 25. It's the West Coast Eagles by 5 points at the Wacker.
He's had 7 possessions to Gehrig 2, although Gehrig has kicked 1 goal.
Second term Saturday night football from the WACA ground in Perth in front of a sellout crowd. The West Coast Eagles and the Western Bulldogs. Over the ball is Brown, emerges with it, kicks down towards half forward. Darcy battles with Turnbull, awkward bounce. Turnbull back inside his defensive 50. Looping hand pass. Morrison had to wait. Advantage paid for the Eagles. Coming away is Jakovic. Around the outer side, Jakovic runs to the wing, kicks to half forward. Philip Matera used his height. Half-mark Liberatore. Crowd wanting 50. Umpire slides over.
He's slightly had the better of Libba so far tonight. 5 possessions and 1 goal. Libba's had 3. That'll make it 6 possessions now. There's Grant dropping in again, Dennis, what we're talking about.
Yep.
They're just going to have to be mindful of that.
Boxing for 50, Chris. Hopefully that shoulder is 100% now.
It was very slack manning up by Philip Matera. He saw Tony Liberatore run away from him and didn't bother to chase after him. Liberatore was able to release that ball, so should have been better manning up there by Matera.
Hunter, high ball up towards the wing. Cox, clever mark. Well done. Cox is on the wing. That was a good effort, particularly considering the quality of the opposition. So Cox to half forward. Croft comes back. McIntosh. Croft reaching over the top. It bounced off McIntosh. Back to Croft. Eagleton runs away. Goes inside the 50. Slides right across the face. Not his best effort. And it bounces through for a behind.
It was great play there by Croft too. He saw Paul Simmons coming from behind. Put his arms out and just held Simmons, allowing Eagleton all the time in the world to steady up there. It's a shame he didn't put it through because he had no pressure on him whatsoever. But just very good play from Matthew Croft.
Philip Reid to bring it in. Terrific night. Very still. Kicks just outside the 50. Jakovic went to ground. McIntosh seems to be okay now. Away to Turnbull. Turnbull, a couple of bounces, runs up towards the wing, kicks down inside the 50. Cummings checks off his man and takes a very clever mark. Very good mark. Approaching the ball, just found the body, worked his opponent Kingsley Hunter off the line and went back and found the footy.
There's the replay again, and just interesting to note with the West Coast Eagles on their kick-outs tonight, what they're basically doing is they're flooding one side and they're getting all their tours over. When they had the kick-out there, they had Turnbull, McIntosh, Jakovic and Gardner all in the same area, so basically going for the very big tour players. There was no small players around. It was actually released there by both Turnbull in the end. He put in a nice kick to Cummings, and he seems to be on his mark tonight, Scotty Cummings.
Actually, it was Craig Ellis worked out of it. He stands the mark and watches forlornly as that one goes straight through. Cummings second.
So a bit of teamwork there for the West Coast Eagles, a bit of working out from the full back line. And Scotty Cummings, who's being up and down, a bit like a roller coaster ride with the West Coast Eagles. It seems to, when the Eagles play well, Cummings plays well. It's all based on a confidence thing. Just a long kick from Ryan Turnbull, probably one of the longest kicks in the West Coast Eagles side, and just good use of the body by Cummings then.
The Bulldogs have Wind, West, Ramiro and Brown inside the centre square. Gardner goes up and he's supported by Fletcher, Cousins and Morrison. It comes to Simmons. Cousins, nicely done. Kemp to Morrison. Gets through, kicks it down towards half forward, running back with a flight of it. Fletcher. Hunter in the opposite direction uses the ball brilliantly. Darcy just forward of the wing, chips inside and finds Croft. And Croft is about 65 metres from goal. Well worked, that rebound opportunity for the Western Bulldogs. Sets it up. Up goes Johnson. And what a terrific mark that was. Rarely sighted so far in this game, Brad Johnson. But he's marked about 30 metres out on a very slight angle.
Well, Brad Johnson's coming off a sterling year from 1999. He was All-Australian and their Bereston first. But if he kicks this goal, you can thank Kingsley Hunter, because he's aggressive play there on their half-back line. Really set this up. He had Chad Fletcher running towards him. It was a 50-50 ball. But Hunter was more of the aggressive. He was able to swing the ball over onto the wing. And of course, we saw the pass into Johnson, who had a lovely, strong set of hands.
Brad Johnson steers it right through the middle.
The Bulldogs needed to peg that one back because of another goal by the West Coast Eagles, and you would have seen probably their tail get up, and just neither side at the moment can really make a break from it. They both just seem to be fairly free-flowing, and Brad Johnson, who averages around about 21 possessions, he's already kicked 12 goals this year, and it's his 34th mark. Very good mark, especially under the pressure from Jones. He did nothing wrong in that situation.
And you get the feeling the Bulldogs would like that matchup on their forward line. Johnson against Jones. Play restarts, and a very good bounce too. Wind and Gardner, one down by the ladder this time. Alvey gave it away. Cousins on the burst. He should kick a goal. Runs inside the 50. Doesn't get all of it. Finds a man about a metre out. That's Metropolis, who cannons into the fence, but will take a kick at goal from point-blank range.
Wasn't that all class from Cousins there, but Daniel Metropolis, what do you do in that stage? Do you shepherd it through, or do you take the mark? I mean, it's a tough one.
I would have taken the mark, but kicks were scarce. Now Metropolis gets the sharp angle, and this, I've spoken to KB about this, Kevin Bartlett. I think if a guy marks it inside this square, he should be on a straight line. This is a nonsense, really. He shouldn't be penalised from.
Well, the ball really came straight in, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, fair enough, it came in on an angle, put him on the angle.
Yeah, sure.
But it didn't.
Well, I think inside the square, full stop, guy goes back in a straight line.
What was KB's answer to it?
KB liked it. Didn't ring me back.
Oh.
So as a result, that's a pretty hefty penalty for some very good football and another poster. The world record is in danger. What did I say it was?
83.
Just checking.
Do you know which side?
You actually pay attention. I'm flattered. It comes out towards Grant. This is Brown. Feeds it back towards the middle. Smith. Grant took too long. Did have prior opportunity. Taken down by Kemp. It comes back to Smith. The Bulldogs a bit lucky there, used all their allowable time. Romero combines with Grant, that's better. He releases Eagleton. Eagleton on the wing, good-looking kick, a probing kick. Going back is Hudson. Garlick tries to shepherd. Alvey takes advantage of that and bounces it through for a great goal.
Well, now we see the Western Bulldogs back in front. And Mark Alvey ran basically from the 50-metre line to get that ball originally. He saw it coming in from the kick here. You can just see him on the bottom of the screen there. He ran right around and was basically just running to the contest. And that's just very good play by the young fella. And he just come into the side.
So the Dogs lead it by a point. 15 minutes out from half-time. These rucks have gone at it all night long. West got it from Romero. The kick comes out towards the wing. Room service bounce there for Eagleton, but he gave it away. Now Morrison bouncing down towards half-forward, trying to lure Romero. Well, he's foxed everybody. There's a free kick off the ball going to Jose. As Gary came up looking to shepherd, it was a little clumsy. He got into the back of Jose Romero, who gets the free now. From half-back, that happened off the ball. He kicks it up towards the wing. McIntosh did well, reaching over the top of Croft, but he knocks it out of bounds. Adrian.
Dan, just some news on the black armbands tonight for the Western Bulldogs. It's to honour the passing of Val Whitten, the wife of the late, great Teddy Whitten.
Famous name in football throughout the land and revered in the western suburbs. Free kick from the boundary throw-in will go to the Eagles. Umpire Sheehan insisting it come back to be taken by Turnbull.
Ryan Turnbull just playing in front there, and Darcy trying to get his hand to the ball. Was all over the back of him. There's certainly no discrepancies there. And have a look at this, Dennis. The Western Bulldogs have taken every single player across the 50-metre line. There is not one player in the back half of this ground. So Terry Wallace is obviously telling his players to flood the Eagles' forward line at every opportunity.
McIntosh kicks it to Rintoul. Interesting, we had Turnbull with Darcy on the mark and McIntosh and Rintoul, all sons of famous players, as the ball goes inside the 50. Not of the BFL necessarily. Now we've got a whistle and the free kick is going to the Bulldogs. It'll be taken by Scott Wine. To Alvey. Alvey up from the back pocket, kicks it up towards the wing, tailor-made for Jakovic. Really didn't get the purchase he needed. Now Cousins in trouble. Can't get it back to Jakovic. Crosses the line. And the boundary throw-in.
Another famous son of a ex-footballer, and Brian Cousins.
He's about 5 or 6 in this Eagles team tonight. Great to see. Turnbull slaps it wide. It goes out of bounds in front of Jose.
The Eagles have brought Embley back on, Den, and Metropolis being rested, and you just sense down here that the game's just waiting for someone to grab hold of it, someone to stamp their authority.
It's been a well-played game so far, with the exception being the finishing from both clubs. There's Rintoul, 55 metres out. Grant's in front again. He's thwarting them down there. Chris Grant across the goal face towards the opposite pocket. Smith's away. Plenty of territory. Romero running hard for him. The kick goes in that direction. Cousins bearing down, played it brilliantly. The hand pass directly across the line. A couple of the Eagles wanting deliberate, nothing doing.
It's interesting to note the Eagles are trying to drag Chris Grant as far back as possible. They've got Embley standing in the goal square, but Chris Grant's too smart for that. He's just playing a little bit further up in front, and Embley then has been forced to drag up on him.
Cousins dragged down. Turnbull likewise spills to Jones. Interesting hand pass. Got it to Braun. Brought some space for McIntosh. McIntosh, the high floater down towards the 50. Curley inadvertently kicked it in midair. Give him a stat. Eagleton missed by West. Eagleton backs up across half-back. Nathan Eagleton kicks towards the centre. It carries the centre. It bounces on for Croft. Awkward one. He stifled the bounce. Now he's got a chance inside the centre square. Good looking kick. Hudson takes the mark about 35 metres out.
A great play by Croft, and good play there by Paul Hudson. He saw the way that Croft turned. He doubled turned Guy McKenna. But just very good back play here by Guy McKenna, because he sort of thought that Hudson could have taken off. And a lot of defenders would have stayed down in this situation, but McKenna got straight up making Hudson go back and take another shot on goal.
So Hudson will kick from 40. What's he done? It looks pretty good. He's got it.
Yes, and still plenty of rivalry out there. There's been a change being made at the moment. Young Fletcher, who's gallantly tried to pick up West, but West has had 13 possessions so far. Young Jackson Crabb's coming on to take him. And it's his first game for the year, Jackson Crabb. Originally the Eagles' first draft pick in 1997. Hasn't played too many games. Only the 9 so far.
So the margin is 7 points, 6-8-5-7. Bulldogs on top, and momentum starting to shift their way. Romero working hard. Hand passes back, conceding some ground. Kemp sensing the urgency of it all. Got Smith down. Hunter likewise got Crabb down. Romero again on all fours. Interesting hand pass, played it brilliantly. Hunter to West, who blocked. That was great work. Brown's away, running to half forward. The hand pass a tad untidy, needs a shepherd. Got it. Well done, Eagleton. Croft pulls it back towards the middle, and a good mark is taken by Johnson. We said they would like that matchup, and they've gone to it again. Johnson on Jones. Jones not often cast in the role of a defender. Johnson will kick it his second.
I think he's going to have to be making a move there. I know Ashley McIntosh is just coming off, replaced by Glass. I was almost going to say Glass could probably come on and take Johnson, but at the moment I think he's got the better of young Rowan Jones. And the Bulldogs are persisting with an extra man back in defence. Scott Wine is staying back, and that's allowing Ryan Turnbull to stay back for the Eagles. We'll just watch the shot on goal from Johnson.
Nice. Very nice. He's got 2.
And this is an important period of play now for the West Coast Eagles. 11 minutes to go, and the Bulldogs have slowly clawed their way on top here and are controlling the game. This was originally set up by Jose Romero, who he was basically 3-on-1 against the West Coast Eagles, and jumped on the ball when he had Gardner around him, and he got the ball out and really got the Bulldogs going forward. So this is a critical time now for the Eagles.
So the Western Bulldogs working their way on top. Just get the feeling they may have taken the best punch from the West Coast Eagles. Live to tell about it, and now putting their own stamp on things. Darcy dives in. West again, inspirational. Tries to get it out. Romero had it knocked away. Kemp, Rapunda, storming to the 50. Can they get a reply? Has it got the carry? Yes, it has. David Rapunda on the burst.
Well, that's the best answer in any occasion, is a quick reply. We haven't seen a lot of David Rapunda tonight, Dennis. He's certainly been their form player for the year, been playing out of a back pocket and been doing a lot of damage in that area. But tonight he's been swung onto the ball as a new lease of life. And Dean Kemp again, that's the second time I've seen Kemp in there feeding the handball out when it's resulted in a goal. He's just such an integral part to the West Coast Eagles. Beautiful finish from Wirapunda.
Not unlike a recent match between the Undertaker and Mankind. This 7-8, 6-7. Bulldogs by 7 points. The ebbs and flows. Cousins out of the middle. Hand passes wide. Braun's got the run of it. The fumble. Alvey's got it. Forward of the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Reid was up. Made contact. That was good enough. It comes back to him off McKenna. Clears the zone, high towards the wing. Darcy had to wait. Jakovic came up, fisted away. Romero in front, played it brilliantly. Crabb in the opposite direction. Got him, took him down, and we'll have a ball up. Jose has been very good. What's that? 14 possessions so far. Didn't get one right there, but showed plenty of courage and a real appetite and sense of urgency.
Speaking of possessions, the Bulldogs have had about 43 now. The West Coast Eagles 22. So they're controlling the game.
There's Braun. Braun kicking down towards half forward. Gardner trying to get across there, but Curley beats him to it. Todd Curley, right half back. A valuable player, he is, so versatile. Comes to Brown. Cummings gets him down. Good result for the Eagles. Needs to be careful. Brown, men getting free. Ominous signs here for the West Coasters. Ellis on the wing. Feeds it back. Confidence growing. The Bulldogs looking good. Grant inside the 50. Hudson shakes away from McKenna. Touch of arrogance. 55 metres out. Sets it up again. Lunging at it, Garlick missed it. Bouncing ball then favoured Reed. Hand pass was slick. Crabb comes away, looking for options, under pressure, kicks towards the outer side. Curley out there leads in the race. The big man Gardner coming across on the angle. Curley plays the percentages and just pushes it out of bounds.
Todd Curley, who's originally went over to Collingwood, came back and played at West Perth for a season before heading back over to the Bulldogs. Often used up in the forward line. He's already kicked 5 goals this year, but probably prefers down in the back line where he can run onto the ball.
Talented player, plays tall. Wine gets it down, pushing the back there on Smith, nothing doing. Rintoul dug it out. Eagleton into the path of West. The runners really working overtime now for the Dogs. Reaching over the top, Jones, well played, brilliantly picked up by Croft. That could have almost been holding it. They'll work it forward again. Here's a chance for Brown. Fell over, slapped it on though. It's all or nothing for the Dogs at the moment. Everyone committed to the cause. Eagleton pulls it back out of bounds on the full.
Just that final bit of pressure there from David Burapunda. We're just forcing the ball to go out. You should never give up in your attempt.
Just at the moment, Chris, more desperate acts coming from the Dogs. Gehrig to Rintoul, sets it up. Rapunda just forward of right half back. 8.5 minutes till half time. The game very much in the balance. Rapunda goes across the ground, and that's not a bad. Well, yes. Garlick knocks it away. You were right. Garlick towards the boundary line. Cousins coming across. That was Reed cruising past. Cousins pulls it back. Has a happy ending as far as the Eagles are concerned. Kemp, well, almost. Reed, still he goes forward at the wing. High kick inside the 50. Guess who? Chris Grant.
Oh, just a shame there for Philip Reed. He can often just not use the ball well enough. He probably could have went back outside to Kemp there, who was on his own. But now we sort of see the Bulldogs going in their way.
Brown kicking it up towards Johnson. And Johnson is going to get a free kick, is he? Down towards left half forward, Brad Johnson. He's booted 2 goals. Wasting no time. Goes looking for Hudson. Oh, brilliantly done by Hudson. Sat Metropolis down and kicks a goal. He's got 2.
Well, that was just all class from Paul Hudson. He saw the kick, he measured it. He used his body to push off Metropolis. Metropolis went to ground, and as we mentioned before, he is by far the best kicker on the run. Just have a look at this. Just used his body weight to push off Daniel Metropolis. And there is no doubt when Paul Hudson is running into goal, you can lay all your money on him. He's going to put one through. And the Eagles are going to have to be very careful at the moment, Dennis, because I think the Western Bulldogs are looking good.
They are indeed, Chris. They're looking very good, the Western Bulldogs. 8-8-6-7. A player very vulnerable when he's trying to change direction. Metropolis was. The bounce went in that direction, and the bump was very timely. Cox, Ramiro out of the centre again. Turnbull, Sockers off the ground. That's a mark.
He's got Jakovic out wide. Jakovic has gone up to centre half forward now to play on Hunter.
Crabb to Cousins, to Jakovic to Cousins. Inside the 50 goes the kick. Grant is getting back and takes the mark again. Now I think Scotty's got to come up and stand alongside him and then run away from him, and hopefully players up the ground can find him with the ball. Or as Chris suggested earlier, the spare man the Eagles have, just go down there and man him up. Now you clog up your forward line, but so be it. It's not working the way things are at the moment.
Well, Dan, as you've said that, Guy McKenna's gone down there to man up Chris Grant. Can you believe that? He's moved off Hudson. Metropolis has got Hudson, and McKenna has gone to a forward pocket.
Thank you, Barra. Ellis has got it. That'll be interesting. Intelligent player, McKenna, maybe. He can work some magic down there, but he's still reliant on the ball coming in. It needs to be good. Braun goes to ground. West out of trouble. Ramiro. This pair killing the West Coast Eagles in midfield, aided by Eagleton. Eagleton's got it now and pinpoints it brilliantly.
I reckon the Eagles are just rattled at the moment, Dennis. The Bulldogs just still seem to be in control a little bit too much. And there's midfield players, as you mentioned, and they've got a bundle of them, are really running the Eagles midfield ragged. And this man's having a very good night out.
No surprises with the Western Bulldogs. I mean, they don't rotate a lot of players through the centre square. You know what you're going to get, but you've still got to beat them. A lot to be said for old-fashioned footy sometimes. Here's Hudson. Starts it out to the right. And misses.
He's got to pretend he's on the run. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But we're just not seeing enough effort from a few of the lesser lights from the Eagles. And it's dangerous times at the moment.
Metropolis straight down the middle. Darcy up very early. McKenna. This is Reid, released through the centre square. Reid chips it in short. The mark is taken by Cousins, and that could almost be 50. Grant flirting. Taken now by Cousins. Back inside to McKenna. This will be an important goal if he can kick it. It would have sent a message, but he's missed to the right-hand side. They need to make Grant accountable, and then they can take him away from the position he's occupying. If McKenna could pick up a couple of goals, that would send a message. They needed that one, more for the scoreboard pressure, but also, obviously, trying to change the Bulldogs tactically. Ellis. Haven't said that in years. Here's Romero. You see Barrett getting ready to play down there. It's one of those pet ports. It goes up wide, missed by Smith. Gehrig over the top of him, slaps it forward. This is Braun. Nicely played. Michael Braun trying hard. Some indecision. Interesting hand pass. Gardner with his back to goal. Comes back to Kemp. Punda. A lot of talent in there. Kicks from the centre of the Wacker. In front, Philip Matera. Behind, an opportunity for Torre, was it? Picked up by Dimatina, who kicks it out of bounds on the fall. It was Libba in the thick of things. Paul Dimatina failing to keep it in, so Rintoul's got the footy about 65 metres out from goal. The short one is on, and McIntosh takes the mark inside the 50.
Then he ran straight off the interchange area there. McIntosh to take that because McKenna has more or less limped off the ground. His back's not too good.
So McIntosh is playing on Grant, is he? And that's the intention. Probably Chris doesn't know at the moment. Hard to send a message if he doesn't know you're playing on him.
So often happens, doesn't it, when you just walk onto the ground that you get a kick because no one's manned you up. And if you're in the right position at the right time, you can pick up an easy kick.
That's how my coaching went, actually, Chris. A lot of my great moves weren't picked up by the opposition. I didn't notice them. Waiting behind, it's Hunter. Kicks it back towards centre-half back. Raponda gathers the ball. Brilliantly charged down. What a smother there by Curley. Still a battle inside the 50 and a free kick to the Dogs. It's going to Eagleton. It was taken high, says the umpire. Gee, Eagleton's been good too. That smother by this man moments ago was quite outstanding. Kicks it up towards the wing. Got to be a free kick to Romero. So what's Eagleton done? He's got 13. Jose's got 17. And West has got 16. Kick from Dooley inside the 50. Hudson has been a danger man. Forced to spoil that time. Punda. Brilliantly done. Bounces away from the 50. Kicks it out towards the wing. It'll take a U-turn, but they can't keep it in. He was teased. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, just on that, Dennis, you didn't see it on camera, but Philip Matera was actually calling for it long, but David Warapunda was running to the side. For him to kick long around his body was never going to happen. You've got to lead up in that situation.
Jankovic couldn't control it. Kemp did. Crabb. Gardner. Gardner about 65 metres out. Morrison got under the ball finally. Ellis leads back in the race. Morrison closing. Cummings stopped it the first time, not the second. Ellis socketed out of there. Slapped across by Cox to Brown. Brown hand passes back to a couple of runners. They sort it out, taken by Ellis. Ellis gets it to Dimatina, and Dimatina's away. A couple of bounces. Dimatina running down towards right half forward. Hudson takes the mark on the 50. The collective sigh goes around this ground. They're doing it too easily at the moment, the Bulldogs. Jose, he's running on. He's got great stamina. Deserves a goal. Oh, that's clinical. Magnificent.
Well, I reckon that was always going to be a goal there from the moment it came out of the back line, because the Western Bulldogs had runners all over the ground. They just kept pushing it forward, and eventually Jose was able to find himself free. Got a funny feeling he may be playing on Dean Kemp, and while Kemp's trying hard, Jose's just had way too much of the ball, and he needs to be manned up severely. Perhaps Jackson Crabb could be the man for that, because Jose's too damaging.
So approaching half-time, very handy lead here, 63-44. Wind again, Jose again, kicks inside the 50, missed by Hudson, waiting behind Johnson, got the hand pass away. Dooley's hand pass intercepted Metropolis, now Simmons, out of defence, kicks it out towards the wing, and Kemp. Dean Kemp with a man inside, some indecision, kicks down towards the 50. McIntosh on the lead in front of Grant, that's better. McIntosh towards the middle. They've got some space to operate in. No coincidence.
Ooh, that's Ooh, that would have hurt his leg.
Yes, Philip Matera came down hard and stiff. Watch it again. Straight-legged.
Ooh, it's lucky that didn't hyperextend, Dennis, because otherwise I know what would have happened, having been in a similar situation, but it's lucky that his knee just bent there.
And that's what they had to do, get Grant out of that spot. That's where he's been, and suddenly Matera then, or Cummings for that matter, this time it's Matera, able to move in behind and take advantage.
They've also got to put someone on Jose Romero, and they've got to stand on him, right next to him. Even at the centre bound stand there a minute ago, he was able to get the ball out.
It's a few jobs to be done. I think they're running out of blokes. There goes Philip Matera. That's better. It's a goal. Good kick.
Well, an important goal because it brings the West Coast Eagles back to within 13 points of the Western Bulldogs, and as long as the Bulldogs don't get another goal, then they'll go in with a little bit of confidence there. But at the moment, this midfield of the Bulldogs is just getting too much possessions, and Jose Romero is one of them, and his cousin's going to come across and man him up at the centre bound stand. So you've just got to stand right on him, because at the moment they're controlling the game, not the Eagles.
Just under 2 minutes to half-time. Terry Wallace goes past our commentary position, headed down for the half-time break. It's a long walk. Morrison knocked it across to Jakovic. Jakovic inside the 50, and Ellis did very well. Yeah. Off balance, tumbling forward. Great confidence, plays on to Curley. Curley, right half back. Is it a relayed through? Yes, it is. That was really a waste of time by the Eagle concern.
And just a stat, 18 of 20 possessions of Jose Romero is coming in the midfield, so he's doing all his damage in between the 250-metre areas.
You are amazing. Brown's got it. Comes right across the ground. Simmons missed it. Dimartino hooks it towards half forward. Cousins from right half back, kicks it up towards the wing. Gardner knocks it back towards Jakovic. Jakovic running out of space across the body. Holding on is McIntosh going back, but then almost a clever mark. Kemp arrives quickly just outside the 50. Dean Kemp spots a man on in the middle. Rapunda juggles it. So suddenly the influence of McIntosh on Grant, although you haven't seen much of their duel, is quite pronounced. And Rapunda kicks a goal from long range. They've created space.
Well, Dean Kemp, you can pat yourself on the back there, because that was you who set up that goal. Although actually McIntosh put in a good performance when he was running back, but Dean Kemp there had two ways to go. He either could have turned towards the boundary and then he would have been kicking around the corners, or turn inboard. And that's the sign of a good player and an experienced player. Turn inboard, open your options up, and there was David Wirapunda on the lead. And it was a good mark from Wirapunda and a good kick too.
Good work by Ken Judge. They're being outplayed, the West Coast Eagles by and large, but he's reorganised this forward line and pulled the margin in to just 7 points. Gardner goes up, taken by Reed, falling to the ground. The hand pass found Gehrig, tackled by Dimartino, but not before he got it to Cousins. Back to Simmons. Simmons linking up with Glass, peeling off half back. Glass kicks inside the 50. McIntosh and Grant. It runs free at the back. Curley close to the line, plays for the line, gets it across.
It's almost like he's done a swap with his forwards at his back, because he's got McIntosh and Jakovic up there playing forward. Been a long time since we've seen Ashley McIntosh, and there's a very dejected Guy McKenna by the looks, Dennis.
Quite a few questions I think need to be asked over that picture.
I think he's in some problems.
I think so too. In front, Kemp, another veteran, looking good at the moment. 45 metres out, kicks and misses.
And he's just slowly working his way back into the game. I think he may have been originally picking up Jose, but if anyone's trying the best for the West Coast Eagles, it's certainly Dean Kemp at the moment. He's been setting up a lot of these goals for the West Coast Eagles. Been around for a long time, over 200 games, 221 as a matter of fact. Oldest player of the West Coast Eagles at 31.
Good effort by the West Coast Eagles here to get back in this. Wait for the siren. Half-time at the WACA ground on Saturday Night Football, and the West Coast Eagles, with those late goals, have got back to within 6 points of the Western Bulldogs. There's a man about a good term, Paul Hudson. He's put 2 goals, so too Brad Johnson. They were lively on the forward line, and at the opposite end of the ground, Scott Cummings has got 2, Philip Matera's got 2, and David Woodpunder's got 2. 9-9 plays 8-9. Apple right there. So the start of the second half, Wind and Gardner coming through as Rintoul, hurried kick towards half forward. The Bulldogs lead it by 6 points starting the second half then. Hunter, Ramiro, Miss Smith. Here's a chance for Philip Matera. Thought about giving it off, but why not kick it goal? Not a good kick though. In trouble, Ellis. Dragged down by a couple of them, and the ball doesn't come out. How will they call it? It'll be a bounce. Judging by that reaction.
Would have been a tough one if he had been caught for holding the ball there, because he really did have no opportunity to get away. And I know Cummings and Wirapunda were both having a chat to the umpire. Let's just take a look at this again. Try to pick it up and was just caught straight on by Wirapunda. In the meantime, the ball scrambled through for a point.
So the margin is back to 5 points. Bulldogs generally dominated play in the second term. The Eagles came storming back. They restructured their forward line and got right back into it in the last 10 minutes before half-time. Just as well. Momentum right with the Bulldogs up until that stage. Here's Dimatina breaking away and kicking towards the outer side. Good kick too. Dropping back is Eagleton. He's played a very good game. Nathan Eagleton around the outer side, kicking it down towards half forward. Hudson's in front. With him is Metropolis, and the ball spills across the boundary line. Interesting, I made the point at half-time about Paul Dimatina. He did collect Brian Sheehan in round 4. Not that he was involved today, but Sheehan would be very nervous when he gets a Bulldogs game at the moment. Glass knocks it towards the boundary line. West falling to the ground, did nicely, got it to Brown. Brown hooks it around the body. Gehrig is up, falls behind. Cousins running out of space, came off his heel and across the boundary line.
Just noticing Chris Grant now is starting to move around. He's moved up into the forward line. He'll be playing all over the ground. I reckon he just might be dragging McIntosh all over the place, because they may think McIntosh's aerobic fitness could be a bit suspect.
Croft battles with Glass in from the side. Cox goes after it again. Crashing through down there was Crabb, taken by Grant. In trouble. Cox has got it now. Eagleton feeds it back. West nonchalantly pops it over the top, and Garlick goes back and takes a mark on his chest. Only about 20 metres out. Sharp angle, but not bad for a guy who kicks it like he does.
That was a great feedback there by Eagleton there. He had the opportunity. A lot of players would like to just snap it on their foot, but he saw West standing out the back. Just handballed it back out of there, and that way West can size everything up. A lot of players don't realise when they've got their backs to the plate, just feed it out to a player who can have a look, size it all up, and in this case West did and found Garlick. And Garlick will line up and try and put the Bulldogs further in front.
Goal here, they'll lead by 11 points, and he tugs it to the left. Had the first kick of the game. It was watered downfield. He finished up getting a kick about 20 metres out and hit the post after he was put down by Philip Reid. Not a lot to it, but the umpires looking to put their stamp on this one. The players got even. Up goes Gardner, takes the mark, plays on. This is Cousins from left half back, kicks it up towards the wing. This has been interesting. McIntosh came hard with Grant, and the ball comes out of bounds.
It'll be a good duel, this one, the McIntosh-Grant situation.
It's very much the key to the game,
yep,
I think.
I was just going to say that. Very big key.
It's changed the nature of the game. Tossed in. Wind. Kemp couldn't control it. West, what a terrier. Went to ground. Kemp, great skill. Back to Rintoul. Rintoul, a high ball towards centre half forward. Hunter goes back. Jakovic is there. Gets the hand pass away to Reid. Again operating in space, but this time he's wide of the marker behind.
And again, in that passage of play, we saw another 2 incidences, what I was talking about, of feeding the ball back. We saw Kemp on the wing, who fed the ball backwards to Rintoul, who could see the whole of the ground, opens up the whole play. And again with Jakovic there, didn't try to play on. Often Glenn Jakovic will try to take players on, but fed the ball out. I think it was to Crabb.
Curley kicks outside the 50. Eagleton was up, couldn't complete the mark. Dimatina, great hand pass, releases Smith around the outer side, chips it high. Garlick had to wait. Reid came over the top, somehow kept it moving. Showing great courage, and there was Hunter, slapped it out, but only as far as Simmons. Simmons high ball. Grant battles with McIntosh. Wirapunda came to them, roving at their feet, hard against the boundary line. Was it out of bounds? I think it was. He's getting a free.
Chris Grant just pushing David Burapunda in the back there. Don't know if we'll get to see a replay, but David Burapunda has been in fantastic form, found himself up forward. The Eagles just seemed a little bit more settled this quarter so far. Throwing the ball around.
It'll take something special, won't it? Burapunda trying to thread it. In fact, I think he tried to get it to the top of the square. Philip Matera. Too high, says the goal umpire, does he? I mean by that above the knee of Matera. So behind. May have been touched on the way through and struck him below the knee. I'm not sure, but umpire Sheehan, the peacemaker in all of this. And Scotty offering a second opinion to the goal umpire. Watch it again here. Well, the only bloke who could have touched it was, I think, Romero on the ground, was it?
It's an interesting one, that one.
Yep, Curley kicks off in any case. Fisted away by Jakovic. Coming through hard with Smith. Knocks it Goldwood. Played it pretty well, but standing tall on the road is Glass. Chips it in short to Cousins. Cousins loops it over the top to Kemp. Burapunda again in the opposite direction. Coming hard was Curley. Cousins stood his ground, bowled over, and he's going to get a free.
Just good play by Todd Curley, though. Wasn't that very aggressive?
I say.
Oof, he wasn't mucking around there.
What was the free for?
No, I agree with you.
It was a collision, certainly,
yep.
but Cousins has got the footy, and the crowd aren't arguing. 4 points the difference. Cousins to the pocket. Cummings knocked it away from Grant, and now Grant's going to get a free kick. And Scotty almost pulling his hair out.
In that case there with Cousins, because they're manning up, you're just far better off just putting it out in the middle, 20 or 30 metres out in front of the box, rather than going into the pockets. At least give your Crummers a bit of an opportunity.
Rowan Smith now, with a man on the mark, pulled back 50. That's Dean Kemp. Whoa. Not often you see that sort of look from Dean Kemp, but if looks could kill right there.
I don't know if it was actually directed to the umpire or to one of his teammates.
Well,
but he doesn't look happy, does he?
No, if it was a teammate, he'll never speak to him again. There goes Smith. Kicks inside the 50. Going back, Metropolis takes a very good mark. Daniel Metropolis. A real battle going on here. This game's so important to both these clubs. Kemp, right half back, finds Reed. Bulldogs lead it by 4. Little chip pass comes into Gardner. Gardner's on the wing. Rintoul is breaking for him. He ignores that and goes for distance, setting it up. Burapunda backs out of the contest. McIntosh did brilliantly. Going back, knew there were men coming up. So often it's so dangerous going back into that sort of space. Watch it again. Burapunda opted out. McIntosh, eyes only for the footy, oblivious to all else. Over Wine, took the mark, and now can kick a goal from about 40 metres out, but it is a sharp angle.
Well, you often see Ashley McIntosh doing that in the back line, where he's forced to run back and take the saving mark, but he is on his favourite side with the left foot, so it's not out of the question.
No goals this season, but I think he's got one now. Wonderful effort by Ashley McIntosh. Great mark, great kick.
Well, we've got a ball game on our hands now, and Scotty Cummings, it'll be interesting to find out why he's been taken off, because in the past he was being taken off for a few undisciplined reasons, and I really haven't seen him do anything too undisciplined tonight. Whether it's just team balance or not, we'll have to wait and see. Perhaps Adrian might be able to find out for us.
As you can probably tell, Scotty's off the ground on the phone. Probably just being told to simmer down. Eagles lead it by 2 points. Needs to be back out there pretty soon, though. He's playing with emotion, if nothing else, down there, and hasn't done too much wrong. Morrison, Garlick concedes some ground. Here's Hunter arching the back, coming away. Runs up to the wing, kicks down towards half forward. Hudson slides in, didn't complete the mark. Like a cork in the ocean, was up quickly, but the kick not good. Morrison chops it off, sends the Eagles back around the outer side. Cousins. Rintoul now kicking towards half forward. McIntosh missed it, then threw it. It comes out to Kemp. Kemp has got it forward at the wing. Kicks down towards the 50. Hunter knocked away by Curley. Socket off the ground by Hunter. Knocked down by Garlick. Garlick heads for the boundary line and will have a throw in at right half forward for the West Coast Eagles. And suddenly someone has turned up the volume on this game. And Scotty is itching to come back. Barra.
Oh yes, it's all happening down here. Scotty Cummings dragged off, absolutely filthy. Gets on the phone to the coach and now going back onto the ground to the raucous approval of the crowd.
Ball goes towards the boundary line and out.
I'll tell you what, Dennis, the move, Ashley McIntosh is doing a great job up forward. Chris Grant's not being now so as dominant as what he has been in the past. It's been a very good move by Ken Judge to move him up there.
Scotty Cummings is the burnt stanger of this Eagles team. He's a crowd favourite and they've got him back on the ground. Crowd power. Cousins spins out of trouble. Still he goes. Finds Morrison. He's collected there by Grant. McIntosh, who's been terrific on the forward line, back to Morrison. In goes Brown, pushed in the back by Crabb. Morrison charges it again and will have a ball up with the Coasters leading by 2, and Hunter shapes up to Morrison and vice versa.
Now this is what we want to see. A little bit of aggression by the players. And we've got a real game on our hands now.
You're a terrible man. There's a bounce inside the 50.
The viewers will love it.
Yeah, they do.
Beautiful.
We're happy they're not playing. There's the bounce. Wind, taps it down. West has got it. Smothered by Werpunda. It ricochets out towards the boundary. Curley, who's been wonderful, grabs it. That's a clever kick in the grasp. But Philip Matera, Werpunda shakes up to Curley. Whoa! Well, the Bulldogs and the West Coast Eagles.
A few of these players will get reported soon if they don't watch it. And they've given a free kick away now, the Eagles. There's 1 point to go on with it. Was the make a point. There's no point carrying on and giving away free kicks like this because this can start to hurt a side. It'll be the side that'll settle down the first here, Dennis.
Curley out of defence, driving it up towards the wing then. Cummings, almost the one-hander, fell at his feet. It goes again, socket off the ground by Gehrig. Back to half forward. Kemp. Crabb over the top. Running with it now is McIntosh, some indecision. Slips a hand pass away. Jakovic brushes aside Johnson. Taken by Hunter, gets the hand pass away. This is Jones, 60 metres out. Kicks towards full forward. Ellison from the side. Defiant fist on it. Roving the pack is Brown. Brown gets a hand pass across to Eagleton. Back to Liberatore. Liberatore combines with Brown. Brown now settles down. He's at half back. Chips close towards the boundary line. Cox was up. With him is Gehrig step for step. Philip Matera's coming up the ground. And a boundary throw in on the opposite side.
One thing Ken Judge has done this year is any player who's shown any undiscipline has been brought straight off the ground. I would imagine that's what Philip Matera's been taken off for.
And I think he's also a bit sore, matey, in one of those collisions there. The other thing was that Cummings... Oh, this game is alive. Cummings was told not to lead where Chris Grant is when he came off.
Thank you, Barra. I would imagine Jeff Geeshan watching this is on the edge of his chair as well. Big test for the umpires. The umpiring firm tonight, Kennedy Sheehan and Humphrey Smith. That's the 4-umpire system. Bounce on the wing. Winds in front. Slaps it wide to be taken by West. West hooks it down towards half forward. A little pitch in no man's land. Hudson came up, slick hands. Away to Eagleton. Probing kick inside the 50. Smith had it knocked away by Reid. Getting back is Turnbull. Kept out of it Darcy. The hand pass comes to Gehrig. 2 points the difference. The Eagles in front. Gehrig around the outer side. Gardner launches himself. Kemp in front was Kemp. Slips the hand pass away. Gardner on the burst around the outer side. Grant in best position. Up he goes and takes the mark. That time McIntosh was on the lead. Chris Grant exclusively in defence tonight. Across the face of goal. Chips it up towards the wing. Hudson is there. The youngster Glass reaches over the top. McIntosh leads back in the race. Ellis is closing. Takes him to ground. Boundary throw in.
Actually, McIntosh really didn't have anywhere to go there. Could be pretty careful there with that little handball over the boundary line. Pretty close to getting a free kick given against him.
Tossed in on the wing then. Croft in front, gets the backhander to it. Up goes Braun, tackled on the way down by Dimatina, crashing the pack. Hudson. In there is Cousins, knocking it to his own advantage. Surrounded by 5 dogs. Great work by Kemp. Got Eagleton. The slick hand pass from Rintoul. Now releases Braun. Braun to the run of Gehrig. He comes storming through the centre square. Long kick. Cummings on the lead. That's going to be a free kick. Has to be. What? The kick comes from Wapunda across the goal face.
Well, you stopped then, didn't you, Dennis?
That is a free kick.
Yep. Let's take another look at that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Let's have another look. Well, I don't know.
I would overrule you. If you were umpiring and I was in the other goal square, I would rush the length of the ground and award a free.
It was in the back, but I wouldn't say
We'd still be friends then.
Okay, all right.
Boundary throw in. Gardner tries to hook it down behind. Over the ball is Wind. He slaps it out of there. Johnson's got it. Kicks towards the boundary line. Takes a few bounces and goes out. You've got to agree then, it was on the edge. It was on the mark.
Definitely, put it this way, if I was out there playing, it definitely would have been a free kick.
Oh.
Yes.
Fletcher comes off the ground. Emotions run high. Scotty can't believe it.
He's got to put that out of his head now and just get back on with the game.
Tossed in, Gardner hooks it down behind. Liberatore stumbles. Ramiro, haven't seen a lot of him in this term. Feeds it back to Hunter. Hunter goes for distance across the whacker. High ball. Gehrig is there. With him is Wills. Good pace from Wills. Forced the error. Eagleton's away. 75 metres out. Kicks inside the 50. Well done by Metropolis. Backing back on Hudson. Coming through his Turnbull. Grabs the loose ball. Kicks it back towards midfield. Cox is there. Over the top. It's knocked away. Opportunity for Dimatina. Could have been held up without it. McIntosh's hand pass. Missed one, but he's backed up by Braun. It was intended for Jakovic. Braun stops, beats it back inside. McIntosh kicks from 70. Scott Cummings will need to come hard, and he does. No, not hard enough. Wind this time. Hand passes away. Ramiro, the short one, releases Liberatore. Liberatore through centre half back, inspired by the boos. Goes looking for Johnson. Getting in behind him is Crabb. Well played by Johnson. Pushed him off the line of the footy, but ran out of space. And a boundary throw in at his side.
Oof. Take a breath. This game is going flat out at the moment. Both sides not giving an inch. And it's just going from one end to the other.
Croft and Glass, body to body. Glass tries to direct the ball across to Cousins, and he will get a free kick. Advantage is paid. Braun comes away, gets the hand pass across to Rintoul. Rintoul on the wing, goes kicking long. Curley hit it hard. It ricochets across to Wind. Wind to Curley. Curley's been wonderful back there. Gets the hand pass away to Grant. Grant's at right half back. Kicks it up towards the wing and Dimatina. This is pulsating football now. It's end-to-end stuff. Hunter's away. Bouncing it up towards half forward. Kingsley Hunter. Reminiscent of a run a few weeks ago when he finished with a goal. Not this time, but there's polish on the finish. Meanwhile, at the opposite end, Cummings and Wind. Croft has got the footy. Spots a man towards the pocket. Garlick not strong enough, not tall enough. Goes after it. He's over the ball. Jones is over him. Rintoul crashes in. Hand passes towards the boundary. Kemp and Wills on a collision course. They collide a couple of metres in. Jones a strong tackle on Johnson. Taken by Kemp. Kemp gets the hand pass away to Jakovic. Breaking away is Morrison. Morrison ill-directed. Getting in there is West. West kept his head, missed by Croft. Croft was on for a long time. Will spins out of trouble, feeds it back towards the middle, taken by Smith. Smith backs off inside the centre square. Long kick down towards full forward. Great mark, Hudson.
Well, Dennis, the pressure from both the sides then, it was just absolutely fantastic. We saw an incident down there where Andrew Wills and Dean Kemp, it was a 50-50 ball. They both attacked it. We saw players making plenty of mistakes here, but that's just the pressure of the game. It's an important game to both teams, and Paul Hudson has been in sensational form tonight. Is this his third or his fourth?
His third, I think, and he's got it.
And he's proving to be a real danger man up forward. There is Paul Hudson. He's first had Guy McKenna, now he's got Daniel Metropolis, and he's certainly won the battles. Andrew Wills, who earlier on in the year was knocked out, missed his targets, but there was just so many players around backing him up. And funny enough, there's been more turnovers by the Bulldogs, 24 to the Eagles 16, but we still see them in front at the present stage.
Well, you've got to love endeavour, you've got to love honesty, and both these sides totally committed to the cause. Braun's got a problem. He's gone inside the centre square. He was pointing back, as you could see. That's Matera running past to pick up the man who's gone forward for the Bulldogs. Romero kicks it out wide. In front, Hudson missed it. Socket off the ground, Brown. Brilliantly stopped down there by Morrison. Socket out wide by Turnbull. Eagleton leads in the race. Reid took his eye off the footy, not so Eagleton. Hand passes back towards Romero. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. Over Crab's head. Taken by West. Hard against the line. Looking for Smith. Arriving was Reid. Waiting behind was Hudson. Could have been kicking in danger. Grabbed by Braun. Clears the zone. Kicks towards the outer side. Jakovic goes to ground. Arriving quickly as Crab. Stumbles. Gets the hand pass off. Stretching his Turnbull. Feeds it back inside. Jakovic is away. Jakovic towards half forward. Gets a hand pass to McIntosh. The two defenders combine. Can he finish? This would be inspirational, but he's offline. Behind.
Good teamwork there from the Eagles. A good run there from Glenn Jakovic. In the past, we haven't sort of seen him run sort of too much. He's normally been body on body, but when he does get on his bike, he likes a run and he likes a shot on goal. He'll be disappointed that he's missed there. And Brian Sheen's having a look at this board. Do they think it's flat? Yep, I'd say so. And I'd tell you what, the players won't be too unhappy to see this little bit of break at the moment, because this game has been going absolutely flat out in this quarter. And it's a credit to both sides, the endeavour and the commitment that they've been putting into it. And I heard you mention earlier on there before, Jose Romero's been well held in this quarter. Had something like 20 possessions in the first half.
So they've taken a new ball at the whacker, not for the first time. Kick in from Curley. In front is Rintoul. Takes the mark and will send it back. Spots a man towards the middle. That's Crab. And the Eagles giving as good as they're taking now. This is Cousins. Pops it back inside the 50. Great mark taken by Ellis. A lot of courage there.
And Cousins really didn't have any options. When he looked up to go forward there, Dennis, he just saw a wall of Bulldogs players. And that's what they're doing. They're just flooding the back line. And it's making it very difficult for the West Coast Eagles to get a clear mark.
Picked up out there by Alvey. Romero.
Look at the run
through the centre. Brown comes right across the ground. Eagleton, what a pick up he has been. Great evasion. It's slippery in there on that centre wicket area. Eagleton goes for distance. Going back is Hudson. Reaching over the top is Metropolis. Hudson pleading for a free kick. Didn't seem as evident. At the other end, we saw one moments ago involving Cummings, and that was turned down. So Paul, don't like his claims there.
Talking about marks there a minute ago, the West Coast Eagles are behind in that department, 38 to 58.
Glass finds Gehrig back towards the middle. Rintoul. Gehrig has to stretch. Awkward for him now. Grant came to meet it. Well played by the champ. Getting a free kick. Plays on. Curley again peeling off and running hard. Kicking it down towards half forward. Crab coming across on the angle. Gathers it close to the boundary line. Gets the hand pass to Braun. Braun chips it up towards the wing, and Gehrig's got it once more. Gehrig wants to go. Comes across the ground. Turnbull is the target. He takes the mark. No margin for error now. Feeds it back to Glass. Glass 75 metres out. Chance for Ellis again. And he made the most of it. He's been very impressive in this term. So important to the Bulldogs. If they're to challenge in August, they need tall defenders, and this man, Craig Ellis, is a key.
And Dennis, Scotty Cummings just needs to lead up. He's staying too much in the goal square. He's making the Eagles bomb the ball in there, and he's been outnumbered. When he's on his best and when the Eagles are playing well, he's always running up. Free kick to Dean Kemp. He's played very well tonight as Dean Kemp. Been instrumental in getting the West Coast Eagles back in the game in that second quarter.
So Kemp has the ball at right half forward. Bulldogs lead by 4 points.
Got to move it quick, otherwise the Bulldogs are just going to flood it. Here they go. We're now seeing it again.
Jakovic working off a pick down there, which is illegal. Over the top comes Ellis and punches it towards the boundary, so boundary throw in.
Sometimes in that instance the best way is just to try and find little small passes and just try and keep breaking it up, because eventually one of the teams will crack and hopefully if it's the Eagles going forward, it'll be the Bulldogs that'll crack and won't man up a player rather than just bombing it.
One of the quarters of the season right here. They've gone at it from start to so far. The hand pass from Cousins to Rintoul. Gehrig took his eye off the footy. Socket off the ground by McIntosh. Out of bounds on the full. 3 minutes to go to three-quarter time. Just get the feeling, the way it's being played, Chris, that neither side will be able to burn the other off.
No.
Very conscious of playing strong defence. Floating through as Rintoul. But on the break they can do something. The kick comes from Alvey inside the centre square. It's marked by Smith.
He's got players out wide on the right-hand side.
So these players are pushed up from the back to make themselves available. Croft's got it now. And goes looking for Johnson, and why not? Jones played it pretty well. Camped in front is Smith. The kick, though, doesn't have enough shape on it right to left and narrowly misses.
Good play there by Crofty. He really had no other options than just centering the ball into the middle of the ground and waiting for the punch down from the defenders. And Smith was in the right position there. His kick was just off mark. And smart play by the Bulldogs. They just flood the Eagles forward line and then they just all run forward when the turnover occurs, trying to catch the Eagles out.
Rintoul, that's Chansey, half volley for Glass. Kemp makes it look okay to Morrison. Morrison from half back spots a couple up in midfield. Gardner's got it. Cruising past his crowd. Needs a finish. Comes to Cousins. That was a beautiful kick.
Good vision, wasn't it?
Wonderful.
And there was that situation there where the Eagles did the right thing. They went through the centre and then with Crab with the run on, they forced, it was just, you just missed Scott Wine, but you forced Scott Wine to come out of that 50 square, pulled him up, and that gives you a bit of an option there. And he just saw Ben Cousins out of the corner of his eye. And Ben Cousins this year is averaging 26 possessions. Last year was averaging 24, so he's having another good season this year.
Important kick, this one, just tailing away to the right, behind. Going point for point. The margin 4 points. 10-12, 9-14. Chris Bond, the amiable Chris Bond, goes past and gives us a wave despite the scoreboard. Here's Darcy around the outer side. High ball. Eagleton launched himself. Rintoul with the judgment. Got it on the way down. Close to the boundary line and looking for a kick is Garlick, and he was falling. I think it was there. Kemp got into his back, but Garlick, had it not been paid, was in trouble. He kicks across the wing. Uses it well. Kingsley Hunter's got it now. Just over a minute till three-quarter time. Centering kick. Fisted away by Metropolis. Picked up by Reed. Gets it across to Cousins. This is Morrison. Morrison out wide towards the wing. Jakovic. Runners inside. Here's one of them. Fletcher. Fletcher forward of the wing. Another man is out wide. That's Gehrig. He can take it and run inside the 50. All or nothing for the defender. I think it's a good kick. No. It has narrowly missed. He was giving it the arm pump, and then he had to take it off. That's the pump, not the arm.
The goal there to the Eagles would have been handy, but it's going to be a very interesting last quarter because they've both been at it tooth and nails this evening. Not one side's really been able to make a break. The Bulldogs did get away there for a while in the second quarter. This is a dangerous kick in.
Rintoul over the top of West. Down in front with Punda. He bounces it along the boundary line and we'll have a throw in. Bit of a knock. Just shakes it off. That sort of game. Couldn't play in this one and not get knocked about a bit.
Just noticed Garlick's been shifted onto Dean Kemp, so obviously Terry Wallace is concerned that Kemp's picking up a lot of positions. He was playing on Elvey. Elvey's now picking up Michael Braun on the other wing.
Coming through down there was Wine. Well played. Cox, good hand pass. In the run of Hunter, he's been quite important. He runs up towards midfield. Kingsley Hunter kicks inside the 50. Hudson almost. Roving the pack is Glass. In there is Johnson. Taken front on by Jones. The Eagles need to hold. Reed got it out of there. Falling to the ground. It's slapped out by Fletcher. Taken by Eagleton. Eagleton lines up on goal. 7 seconds till three-quarter time. And he's kicked a goal.
Well, that's a very, very important goal to the Western Bulldogs, and fantastic run there by Kingsley Hunter. He left Glenn Jakovic behind, ran straight through the centre of the ground, and in this situation, we'll see it in a minute, we saw the Bulldogs there 3-on-1. Just check this out. 1, 2, and there's your third one out there. 3-on-1 is always going to in. Eagleton just sized up the goal and slotted it right through. A very important goal, and look out.
The timing was exquisite from Nathan Eagleton. I doubt we'll see another kick in this term. 11, 12, 9, 15. Rucks go at it. There's the siren. The last kick of the quarter deals a body blow to the West Coast Eagles, and what a wonderful goal it was on the run. What a stormy quarter it was. An enjoyable term too, as both sides, with a genuine dislike for each other, went for the jugular. The game is still in the balance, but it's tipped slightly the Western Bulldogs' way. Back with more in just a moment. Just getting a breath. This is going to be quite some ride if the third term was anything to go by. Down in the foreground, that was Eagleton, who went to ground. He was pushed inside the centre square. Umpires ignore that. Garlick at the base of the pack, kicks the Bulldogs forward, and Wills takes a clever mark. Plays on inside the centre square, pulls it back into no man's land though. Jones first to arrive, in trouble, bit lucky, the ball was jarred out. Glass gets a hand pass away to Simmons. Simmons kicks it up towards the wing. Gardner in best position. Rintoul is cruising past. Rintoul kicking towards half-forward and Jakovic. Knocked away by Hunter. It bounces out towards the wing. Fletcher and Brown. Fletcher does pretty well. Kemp arrives like the cavalry. Tracks it out towards the wing, Dean Kemp. He's forward of the wing now. Settles. What will he do? He kicks inside the 50. Going back down there, Philip Matera. Over the top was Wine to knock it away. Hunter directs it wide to Brown. Brown hard against the line, and it's going to be a relayed free kick. Bulldogs to take it up on the wing. Wills.
First goal is going to be vitally important. If the Western Bulldogs get one, Dennis.
Dimatina did very well. That was a clever mark. Running with the flight of it. Fingertip control, Paul Dimatina. Jabs it down towards the pocket. Smith, what a lovely kick and what a good lead.
Some very quick plays of the Western Bulldogs, and just saying if they kick this very first goal, it's going to be very hard for the West Coast Eagles to come back, because there hasn't been too much of a lead in between these sides. 15 points.
Big kick this one, and Smith has kicked an absolute gem.
Yes, good play by the Bulldogs. You can see at any opportunity that they're trying to break on, trying to play on as soon as possible. We saw that on a couple of occasions very early in this quarter already. Just beautiful kick there, nicely weighted. And Philip Reid really didn't do anything wrong. He was right there with him, but of course when the ball's out in front, you can't do much about it when you're a defensive person like that. And Smith was very happy putting that one through.
Well, talking to a Bulldog fan during the week, he was saying the Bulldogs are a bit too pretty in the last few outings. Well, tonight they're snarling, they're scratching, they're biting, and they're playing well. They're in front. Jones has got it now. Kicking down towards half forward. Gehrig is going to get a free kick. Straying over the shoulder was Darcy. Fraser Gehrig. I'd suggest too far out to score. Sets it up in the Cummings direction. He's got plenty of company. Wine goes back, finds it on the ground, falling to the ground, gives it to Curley. So often the release valve, he kicks towards the outer side. Rintoul plucked it brilliantly, pushed off the kick, scrambles it down towards McIntosh, couldn't control it. That's almost holding the ball. A revolution into half, Grant, and McIntosh to take a very important kick. A quick reply essential now for the West Coast Eagles.
Yes, it certainly will be. And Ashley McIntosh has done very well since he's moved up forward. Chris Grant was proving a big worry for the West Coast Eagles, and when Judge moved him forward, I think it was late in the second quarter, early in the third quarter, he's stopped a lot of Grant's dominance. And he's had a couple of shots on goal tonight. I don't think he's put through one yet.
Ashley?
He has, yes,
yeah,
he's got one.
His first of the season.
This would be very handy.
Huge kick. McIntosh. The crowd like it. It's straight through the middle. Pressure goal.
So again, we're just seeing both sides getting a goal each, and not really being able to bridge a big gap. And that was an important goal for the West Coast Eagles, that one. At this stage of the game, a lot of players, things are going through their mind. If McIntosh just had to miss that one, the thought of the players with the West Coast Eagles just slightly would have just drained them a little bit. But now they'll be full of confidence.
It was a fine tackle by Ashley McIntosh. I've never tried to tackle Chris Grant, but just looking at him, you know he'd be hard to tackle. He's wiry, he's hard. And McIntosh took him front on and won the battle. Gardner, superbly done. Shades of Polly Farmer. Gets it down to Kemp. Kemp goes long. It's off target. Punda knocks it back towards the square. Philip Matera crashes through. Curley knocks it forward. Socket off the ground. Philip Matera. McIntosh gets it out to Gehrig. Under the pump, Fraser Gehrig. In trouble, Fraser Gehrig. Play on's the call. And Gehrig a bit fortunate there. Play on still the call. And the ball goes out of bounds. Well, the players had stopped a couple of times.
Well, Dean Kemp, wasn't he just absolutely fantastic where he got that ball out of the centre, and he did everything right. Unfortunately, didn't get the goal. There was only one thing. There was Fraser Gehrig who was sitting just inside the 50. You know, of course, if had it went through, it would have been perfect. Perhaps he should have used Fraser.
Well, Dean Kemp was playing Billy Goggin to Michael Gardner's Polly Farmer. Wind goes again, the big man. He's the heart of the Bulldogs. Free kickers go to Ramiro just off the ball. Ramiro wasting no time. A high ball towards the wing. Great mark, young Jones. Johnson's caused him fits tonight, but that time Jones did well. Kicking back to half forward, spotted a man too, kept his head, well done. Embley.
That was great vision actually, wasn't it? Just held the ball up a little bit, just weighed up his options. And that's much better from the West Coast Eagles players. They've obviously been told that the Bulldogs are going to flood it, so just hold up the ball and wait till a free man presents himself.
Embley, not always the best of kicks, but this one's a beauty. He's given it a ride. I think it's either a mark or across the goal line. Cummings comes in for insurance.
It's a mark.
It's a mark to Fraser Gehrig.
Yep.
Right on the line.
And where will he get put? What angle?
Well, it should be very sharp because he marked it against the goalpost. He's a left footer.
And this will make it very interesting.
But it does defy logic, doesn't it? You mark directly in front. I know it's a tenet of the game for a long time. In fact, one leg's out of the square anyway, so there goes my rule.
But even the ball came in on that direction, and again, I don't know.
Hunter needs to be taken back. He's still too close.
That's way too close.
Yeah, if Gehrig takes a few steps to his left, he's virtually in Hunter's lap.
Ashley McIntosh has been trying to tell the umpire that is way too close.
Fraser Gehrig, well, virtually turned into Hunter, but justice from the Eagles' point of view is done.
Well, a game on our hands, and again we've seen some tempers flare amongst the West Coast Eagles. Young Andrew Embley, he's in amongst it. He's been on and off the ground all night tonight. And sometimes his kicking can be a little bit off the mark. But this time we saw it, and just a great mark by Fraser Gehrig, especially when we see he's probably lucky that Michael Gardner did come in because he actually pushed the Bulldogs player out of the way there. But we have a good game on our hands now.
Well, it's been a tough, uncompromising classic in its way.
What's happening now, Dennis? Is something else going on? Well, they forgot to get the football.
We'll need that. Good news is 16 minutes to go, too. A lot more to look forward to. The Bulldogs up by 3 points. Kingsley, Hunter and Fraser Gehrig.
Looks like Chris Grant's now going on to Andrew Embley. Darcy's picking up McIntosh, so they're trying to break it. Wallace is trying to break up Grant on McIntosh.
Back in the middle then. Rucks go at it. Wine slaps it down. Kemp, he's had a good night. Hooks it very high. 27 possessions now for Kemp. McIntosh and Grant, they battle again. I think McIntosh has made it his business to go over on Grant.
The ball's been going very much into the Eagles' forward line so far in this quarter. Bulldogs gone down there a couple of times.
Now Grant has peeled off the pack and he's drifted back inside the 50, and McIntosh, virtually running with him, has gone and found him. Meantime, up ahead, here's Wills inside the centre square. Long bomb inside the 50. Reed, little nudge, did well. Wants to go. Crabb is breaking for him. That's the direction the kick takes. Showed a lot of courage there. Johnson coming back with the flight of the ball. Jackson Crabb has it. Right half back. And this crowd at fever pitch.
Well, we can go back and swing it right around because the Eagles have got 2 spare over the other side. This is a dangerous kick.
2 on 1 out there, though. It could break okay for the Eagles. Embley's got the run of it. Simmons is there for moral support. Embley kicks through the wing. Good finish too. Taken by Gardner. They stay off him, and the big man's away. The long strides. Fletcher almost shepherded his man into Gardner, but Gardner with the poise goes for the long kick. Fisted away down there by Hunter. Down goes Matera, flying over the top was Curley. Reaching in there is Eagleton, taken front on by Gehrig. We've got a whistle and a ball up from umpire Kennedy, about 10 metres out towards the pocket.
That was great play by Michael Gardner on the outer side there. It was almost like a little rover. Bulldog player went to take on the other man, and as you said, Chad Fletcher almost pushed him into
Look out umpire Kennedy, almost run over. Wapunda got it from Gardner. The Eagles are in front.
Well, it's been a while since the Eagles have been in front, and that has certainly got to be a very moral lifting goal for the Eagles. We see in this ruck top that Gardner did the right thing and actually tapped it back. When you're in that situation, tap it back and out towards and give your players an opportunity. If you're a defensive ruckman, you're going to be pushing it towards the boundary line, forcing it out. A great goal by David Wapunda.
David Wapunda's got 3 goals inside the centre square. Gardner, Cousins, Kemp and Crabb, opposed to Garlick, West, Wind and Ramiro. Big time stuff now in there. Crabb tries to crash his way through. Quite a responsibility for that young man. Taken front on by West. Bounce again. Other players flood inside the centre square now. 87 plays 84. Gardner body to body with Wine. They juggle the ball around. Kemp falls to ground. Slips it away. Crabb. He's holding it surely. And the free kick will go to Garlick. No, it's going to West.
Dennis,
it was gang tackle.
Dennis, Chris Grant, they've got a spare man in defence, and what it's allowing Darcy now to come down and be the spare man. And Paul Simmons is the spare man for the Eagles. He needs to go and pick up one of those players.
Here goes the kick from West inside the 50. Off hands, waiting behind Fletcher. Fletcher swings it out wide. Rintoul kept his footing brilliantly. Chad Rintoul was pushed to the back. He'll get a free kick. That was wonderful by Rintoul. Had every reason to be off balance and fall, but he knew falling would lose the contest for his side. Now he's away, grimly determined. He kicks through the centre towards half forward. Scotty Wind is up. Got a fist on it, knocked it down. Picked up by Cox. Clever kick with the outside of the boot. It bounces through the centre square. Rintoul upended this time, and a trip is called. Plays on immediately. Cousins roaming through the centre, raging through the centre. Cousins kicks inside the 50, and Cummings, storming up the ground, has taken the mark despite a desperate lunge from Scotty Wind. And the distance shouldn't be beyond him. He'll kick from the 50. He's kicked 2 so far tonight.
Well, that was better play from the West Coast Eagles, and we can just see there Wind, who's again filling in the gap along with Grant. What I've been saying all night, Scotty Cummings in this situation has got to lead up. He can't sit back there and allow the Eagles to bomb it in, because they'll be completely outnumbered. In this instance, Cousins found his man, and an important goal for the West Coast Eagles. He kicks this one.
They're all big kicks now. Scott Cummings, good kick, just swinging away. I think it snuck in though. Shape right to left, he's got it.
Well, just like Ken Judge would have been having some problems with the midfielders from the Western Bulldogs, it's now the tables have turned, and Terry Wallace really needs to get his midfield players to pick up both Cousins and Kemp, because they've been very, very dominant. Chad Rintoul certainly come into this game in the last few minutes. A couple of his aggressive forays have turned the ball over. It's time that Bulldogs did the same.
Scotty Cummings, 3 goals on the night, 39 for the season. He's done well against the Bulldogs, 14 goals in 3 matches last season. Gardner slaps it down. Jones in trouble. Johnson likewise. Picked up by Darcy. Gets the hand pass back towards Wills. Handles it well, but run down blindsided by Philip Matera, holding the ball. Advantage is paid. Cousins away. Runs inside the 50. Forced to go at an angle. It was well played by Hunter. Forced the screw kick. Ellis could have been hung on to there. He fisted away. Down in front, Romero stood up in the tackle. Oh, brilliant work, Wapunda. Snap at goal, just misses. Marvellous football there. Wapunda seemed out of the play. Philip Matera, the beneficiary, almost something out of nothing. Watch this again. That is spectacular.
It's great reflexes, and you can almost just sort of feel a little bit more toe in the Eagles at the moment. And the Western Bulldogs are just going to have to tighten up a little bit and move the ball a little bit quicker too.
Eagleton got it from Curley. Kemp goes to ground. It was well played by West. He's got the run of it now. West, time to fumble. Feeds it back towards the middle, and Cox, who let it bounce. Still Cox. Cox and Crab battle. Kicks it out wide, and the mark is taken here by Contessa. Adam Contessa, too far out to score. Kicks from 65, sets it up. Gardner needs to crash the pack. He does. Falls behind. Metropolis in trouble. Be careful in there. Emerging with it is Croft, but he didn't beat the whistle from umpire Kennedy.
It's important now that the Bulldogs get a score while they're inside this 50-metre zone and bridge the gap. Another goal by the Eagles would certainly make it difficult, but this is a great opportunity for the Bulldogs now, and both sides are throwing everything at it.
Just under 11 minutes to play. Darcy could have almost been a free to the Eagles. Kicked out of there by Glass. Leading back is Johnson. Johnson squares the ball, shows a lot of it to Morrison, waiting behind Contessa. Picking his pocket was Kemp. It was brilliantly done. Morrison got the hand pass away to Embley. Embley goes the distance. Curley came hard. He connected too. The only man left standing were Punda. He's kicked 3. Brilliantly falling to the ground. Gives it to Cousins. Cousins from 50. Nobody back. It could bounce high. It does. Down goes McIntosh. And the ball goes across the boundary line. I thought for a fleeting moment it could land on its point and go back towards the square. It sat up, and that was good enough for the Bulldogs to rush it across the boundary line.
It's just amazing how a side can just change from week to week. And this is just a totally different side from what we saw last week. I'm talking about the West Coast Eagles here.
Well,
but also full credit to the Bulldogs because they've put up a great effort too.
Must be a free kick to the Eagles. Advantages paid. Morrison was going to get it. Crab to Cousins. Hasn't he got lively? Upended. The kick slides towards the square and trickles across the line. Gehrig claiming it was McIntosh's boot. The goal umpire having none of it. 26,807. That's just about a full one, Chris.
Yeah, and Terry Wallace really needs to shut down both Cousins and Kemp because they've basically been the two dominant players in this last quarter. And Jose Romero and West, we're not seeing enough of them.
29 possessions now for Cousins.
Mind you, they've been very good all night, the Bulldogs midfielders.
Slowed down a bit since halftime. This man has been very good, probably the most consistent of them. Together with West, Eagleton, probing kick inside the 50. Hudson worked under the footy, paddling it towards the boundary line goes Fletcher, and it's across.
And then, while all this excitement's going on, Ken Judge has Glenn Jakovic sitting on the bench. Embley preferred at centre-half forward. Guy McKenna is gone for the game. Obviously, chronic back problem has done him in again.
Interesting note, both sides have had 268 possessions today. So it's an even match, just a little bit different on the scoreboard, but it's anyone's game still.
Smith directs it down, taken by Morrison. Crab doing some good work. Cousins again, 30 possessions now. His season's high is 34. Rintoul has been impressive in this final term. Releases Gehrig. He runs inside the 50. Can he finish? Yes, he can.
Well, there's still a long way to go, but the way the Eagles are playing at the moment and the way the game has been going all night, I would suggest that could almost be a winning score. As I said, it's still very early, but Ben Cousins has been absolutely sensational this last quarter. And watch the shepherd from Paul Simmons. That is just fantastic play from Paul Simmons. Great teamwork and well finished off by Fraser Gehrig. But that's what you see when a side's going well, teammates helping each other.
When he gets that look and he goes that fast, invariably he finishes up with insects on his teeth, Fraser Gehrig. That was a wonderful goal. 14-17 to 12-12. That grimace and that finish. Can the Dogs come back now? Diving in there is Croft. He's got the ball inside the centre square. He kicks it high down towards half forward. Going back with great courage was Jones. Angled the fist as far as Metropolis. Coming in hard was Hudson. Nicely worked. It comes to Johnson. His kick was charged down. He got the hand pass from Brown, but eventually they bring it away to the Eagles, to the outer side. Cousins has been remarkable. Chips it up towards Rintoul. Embley comes away, but the mark is paid, and it will come back to Chad Rintoul.
That was a bit unfortunate by the Bulldogs by Johnson then, because that was almost a certain goal.
Metropolis involved earlier. Kicks it down towards half forward. Geary getting a taste for it. There he is again. Oh, well done by Hunter. That's got to be holding the ball. It'll come back to Kingsley Hunter.
Well, he often does that, Fraser Geary, doesn't he? Try to take on his player. Normally he gets around, but Kingsley Hunter's very, very quick. And that was a great tackle by Kingsley Hunter. Played very well tonight.
Well, if they look back, and the Dogs happen to win this one as the ball ricochets off Fletcher and goes across the line, that tackle could be pivotal. If Geary gets through, confidence sky high, kicks a long goal, that could have been it.
I'm just writing that down so we remember that after the game, Dennis. Hunter.
As a turning point.
Yep.
Knocked forward by Darcy. Kemp gets the hand pass away to Simmons, but you just get the feeling the Eagles are doing better here, like two heavyweights in the 14th round. Well, the 11th these days. Croft up towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Darcy. Wants to go. Centres it. Albie forward of the centre circle. Long kick, a beauty. Hudson got away from Metropolis. Metropolis, great closing speed, gave a contest. Got it on the deck. Picked up by Fletcher. Goes across the ground and stretching is Dean Kemp. Kemp off his step. Gets it to Glass. Just over 7 minutes remaining. And the margin is 17 points.
Really doesn't have much upfield to kick to at the moment. The Bulldogs just sort of setting partly a bit of a wall.
High kick towards the outer side. Gardner gets under the ball. Crabb put the body in, knocks it forward. He's been handy. Down goes Wills. Jarred out of there. Riding one up was Cox. Throws it on the boot. Sends it back towards the wing. Kemp left it behind. Circling the ball as Gardner. Slips the hand pass away to Simmons. Simmons has been handy too. Kicks down towards the 50, but ill-directed. Hunter juggled, attempted the mark. He was stiff. Over the top goes Gearig, and the ball's out of bounds. Bad luck for Kingsley Hunter.
He looked a bit disappointed there, but he really hasn't done anything wrong. He's been a gallant defender all night and had such a better season this year than what he did last year. Only one game, so shouldn't be too hard on himself.
Need a goal, and they need it soon. West. Cousins goes back with courage. Obviously good talking there from Simmons. Cousins wastes no time. Inside the 50 again. Smith was up with a punter taken down. Cox grabs it. Gets the hand pass away to Hunter. Hunter bounces one out towards the boundary. Kemp slides in behind Contessa, and the ball goes out.
You probably have to say it's a reasonably difficult task based on how the game's been going so far tonight, Dennis, for the Bulldogs to come back. But if they did, it'd be a remarkable turnaround.
Yep. West taken high. Play goes on. Missed by Johnson. Taken by Embley. Just get the feeling perhaps the Bulldogs should push Johnson up into the midfield more now. It's taken by Gardner, and Gardner is marked about 40 metres out. Well, any moves could be academic if he kicks this one inside the last 6 minutes. Not impossible for the Dogs, but certainly it's starting to get tough now.
In this situation, knowing full too well it hasn't been called time on the ball, the clock's going to run down. Just take as long as you can. The idea is to use up as many seconds as possible. Michael Gardner's done a long run up.
He's been very good tonight, Gardner. Deserves a goal. Was it across the line? I think it may well have been. A sense of theatre. It's a goal.
Well, if you're a Western Bulldog supporter, I have to say that I think the task of your team now is a rather large one. 23 points behind with only 5.5 minutes to go. And it really has been all one way, the West Coast Eagles in this quarter. The game was evenly balanced at three-quarter time with the Bulldogs in the lead. They got an early goal, but since then it's been all the Eagles' way. A lot of credit goes to the players now currently inside the centre square.
What a battle. And finally, you get the feeling the West Coast Eagles may come out on top. The Bulldogs need some quick goals now, and they haven't generally been the essence of the night for either team. Crabb, Cousins, Kemp, those two have lifted remarkably in this final term. Embley, was he pushed in the back? I think so. He'll get the free. The ball will come back.
It's just amazing in a situation like this how things just seem to go a team's way when they're running hot. You know, last week, none of the anything they'd be trying wouldn't be working. Yet
Trying himself in, Liberatore, socket off the ground against the post by Philip Matera.
What's that, number 7?
Still a long way short of the world record. In fact, there's a free kick going to Liberatore. So take that off.
Yeah.
No world record attempt.
They've got no chance now.
No, no chance now. Liberatore kicks it high towards half back. Rintoul, well done again by Chad Rintoul. Knocked it towards the boundary, clatters in once more. He's been a very influential player given his limited time on the ground.
Dennis, just as a player now from the West Coast Eagles point of view, there'd be a fair amount of relief because there's been a lot of pressure on them this week. And just at the moment, most of the players in their heads would be sitting there going, I think we've got this one. What a relief.
And Chris Lewis is contemplating a coaching future. Here's the ball at half back. West gets a hand pass away to Johnson. Lewis, of course, spoke to the players before tonight's game. Led them out and tossed the coin. Brown, of course, with other ideas. 55 metres out, vacant square. Hudson from behind. Metropolis punches high. Out of bounds in the pocket, boundary throw-in. Just over 4 minutes to go, and the margin is 23 points. Gutsy performance by the West Coast Eagles. Ken Judge has had a good night. Did the things he needed to do to keep them in the game before half-time. Here's Wills. Hurriedly. Snaps. Good effort. Maybe the Dogs not spent yet.
And Andrew Wills, who's been a bit of a journeyman, really. Started off at Geelong, went to Fremantle, and really is an opportunist. Very, very quick player. Good on both sides of his body too. He's one of those players you never know whether he's going to use his right or his left because he looks natural on both sides. That's a real opportunist goal.
Late goal from Andrew Wills. His number mirrors his haircut. There's the bounce back in the middle. Cousins punches it down towards half forward. Smith in the road. Albie. Dogs needing another one here. Albie towards half forward. Grant thrown on the forward line now. McIntosh is still with him. Here's Grant. Told to play on. Miscues with a spiral. Out to the right. How will it bounce? Obligingly for Cousins. For the last term he's played, Ben Cousins. Inspirational. Kicks it around the outer side to Reid. Reid the little chip further afield, taken on the half volley by Glass. Glass pulls it back towards the middle. Gehrig is up, knocked away by Hunter. Roving the pack is Wills, knocks it onto his own advantage. Andrew Wills away, then running down towards half forward. Kicks inside the 50. Hudson couldn't quite get there. Spills to Simmons. Simmons gets the hand pass away to Morrison. Morrison with 3 minutes left. Kicks it out wide. The margin 17 points. Around the other side, Fraser Gehrig. Wapunta comes on the lead. Curley does well to knock it away. And a boundary throw.
Just looking around, there seems some very, very tired players at the moment. Of course, when you're in the lead, you can just find that little bit of extra legs, but some of the Bulldogs players just looking that touch tired. And there's still time, though. They can get back from this situation. Tough one, but...
Must be a kick to Romero.
And he's been very well held in the second half, hasn't he?
Yep.
Jackson Krabs did a very good job on Romero. He was damaging in the first part.
Romero from half back. Finds Johnson on the outer side. Johnson upended as he kicks down towards half forward. Waiting behind, it's taken by Brown. Slick hands away to Grant. Grant runs inside the 50, spots a man in the middle. That's Ellis. Ellis has taken it. Doesn't want the responsibility of kicking a goal. Goes to Hudson. He loves that responsibility. Still alive, perhaps.
Yes, well, I'll tell you what. Of the West Coast Eagles, I wouldn't be packing up your bags and going home just yet because this Bulldog side isn't about to give up. And that was just fantastic play over there on the outer wing. Great team play. Chris Grant, a lot of players would have taken a shot. But he's a true team man, saw the man out in open. As you said, Dennis, I think Cox did want to take that responsibility. And what a better person to give it to than the old sharpshooter himself, Paul Hudson.
Paul Hudson's got 4 goals and now 2 quick goals, and there's plenty of time.
Yep.
2.5 minutes to go, and the margin is 11 points. Up goes Gardner. Cousins. Away comes Contessa. Kicks inside the 50. Coming up to meet it down there is Garlick. Garlick straightens on goal, and that was such a big one. He's missed it. And down to our left, Terry Wallace stood up. He stood up and tried to ride it home. He didn't succeed. But still ample time, over 2 minutes to go.
It's a free kick then.
Oh, free kick. Barra, what's that for?
Off the ball, the shepherd off the ball.
Very astute, Barra, thank you. Simmons across the ground then.
It's a good kick.
Reed's got it.
Idea now as a player is just to try and hold up, just use up as many seconds as possible in this situation.
Gardner's got it. Well, that shepherd was about 10 metres behind the ball carrier Garlick just moments ago. Would have been interesting had he kicked straight. Off hands, close to the boundary line. Cox escorts it across.
It's all about inches and seconds at this part of the game, Dennis. Just try and force the ball your way. Try and take up time in terms of the West Coast Eagles. If you're Bulldogs, you've just got to get it down there as quickly as possible. You don't have time on your hands.
Begins to run. Romero grabs it. They need a quick goal. Wills has got it. 1:37 to go. Wills plays on. Some indecision. Now he kicks inside the 50, and what a wonderful kick it was too. It wasn't indecision. He was waiting, demanding a lead, and Garlick gave it to him. So Garlick, moments ago, running into an open goal. The clock is still running. It's down to 1:18. This to bring the margin back to less than a goal. You've got to love these Bulldogs. They will not go away. Simon Garlick has kicked the goal. Game on once more.
Well, just goes to show how quickly a game can turn in AFL football. I said moments ago for the West Coast Eagles, don't pack your bags up because this game is not over. And this is a fighting quality of the Bulldogs. And here's Andrew Wills. He had a good look and then just saw Garlick double back on poor Simmons. Simmons was trying to read the play of Wills, but Garlick was a little bit smarter there. And that is a very important and crucial goal. Jakovic is back on the field.
It's simply willpower from these Bulldogs. Darcy rising to great heights. West and Kemp go at it. Crabb falling to the ground to Kemp. Kemp kicks down a half forward, and the youngster Embley inside the last minute. The clock continues to run, and Embley about 65 metres out. An old head, Dean Kemp, bobs up close to the boundary line with the blue knees.
He's got Jakovic. Jakovic leads. It's his ball. Kemp's taking his time. He can still use him. Jakovic is on the 50-metre line.
Need to be precise now. The margin is 5 points. Turn it over. Bulldogs goal. There isn't time for the Eagles to get the next one. They're running the clock down. Kemp, long kick, close to the boundary line. Gehrig is up almost. Philip Matera comes in. Mark is paid. And that, I think, will win the game for the West Coast Eagles, regardless of the outcome here. The clock is stopped on 20 seconds at the moment, but shortly it will start to run again. Just long enough.
Yeah, Fraser Gehrig, that was a crucial mark.
It's a good mark, actually, watching it. Strong hands.
Averages 7 marks a game. That's his 8th for the game so far. It's the leading mark taken for the West Coast Eagles. And he's really had a good year this year. Injuries have dogged him over the past couple of seasons, and really is one of the crucial match winners for the West Coast Eagles.
5 points the difference.
It's a point.
So the best they can hope for is a draw, and time is almost out. 5 seconds to go. Well, 6.
It'll be interesting to see the response from the Eagles players.
Smith. Knows time is precious. Straight down the middle. Loose ball at the back of the pack. Gehrig spikes it back. Right for the siren. There it is. What a hard-fought victory. And in many ways, just another game between these two clubs. It's a great rivalry.
What a great battle.
They have slugged it out. 5 minutes from the end, we were hailing the West Coast Eagles as home, but the Western Bulldogs have different ideas as we go down on the ground to Adrian Barrage.
Tommy, it was fitting you had the last touch, mate. What a sensational win.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Barra. Yeah, we've been working hard this week and just real happy to get away with the win.
How crucial is this win to the club, mate, after the week it's been?
Yeah, I mean, it's vital. I mean, the Bulldogs are a good team and we had to be at our best tonight. We proved that.
And Tommy, what about your old mate Chris Lewis? Is there something in this win? 10%, 20% for Chris Lewis?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a fantastic teammate and everyone loves him at the club, mate, and this win was for him.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks,
Fantastic game. Congratulations.
Dan Kemp, season's high 33 possessions. Ben Cousins equaled his season's high of 34. No coincidence, they were running hot, particularly early in that final term, setting it up. And then the Eagles hanging on. McIntosh, very important. Fraser Gehrig late, also very important. And the Western Bulldogs would be heartbroken. At various times tonight they controlled this game, but eventually they lose by 6 points.